Welcome back to PF5 for BUKC 2020 Round 2, the Endurances. Let's have a look what we've got on offer for you this afternoon. 3 hour-long races, 2 from each team will be competing, and we're going to start by chatting with Oxford Brooks. Oh, I am clear the grid. We've had to clear the grid already. So I'm just going to sit down next to you, if that's all right. So, good morning for Oxford Brooks then.
Yeah, so far. Not for the B team, but the A team did well.
Can the B team bring it back this afternoon?
Hopefully. Hopefully we'll have a bit better starts. We had 2 back of the road, or like back of the grids, and we got in a bit of a mess with some people.
So you got a GoPro on for this one. Not usually a Brooks thing, that. Are you trading secret?
Last one.
Did you?
Yeah, but it was a bit boring, 'cause, you know, I was just out in front the whole time.
A bit more excitement this time round?
I mean, maybe. We'll see.
You've got race winner Sam Pooley in front of you. Are you going to try and pick some stuff up or just go straight past him?
I mean, I won my race, so I'll just go straight past him.
It's a fair comment. Good to speak to you. I'm going to have a quick chat with him. Sam, ran well this morning and you've got yourself a good starting position here. Can you repeat what you did?
I mean, you know, I hope so, but you know, I've got some quick guys behind, so you know, we'll see.
You reckon he's going to have you by the first corner?
First corner, that'll be. I'd love to see that. If he get it done by the first corner, but yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Have a good one. Sam Pooley there for Nottingham Trent, and we don't have time to speak to anyone else. It really is that quick of a turnover. Hopefully, the commentators, Andrew and Howard, will be back in their comms box. Double Dash Motorsport Media, are you there?
Fear ye not, Jacob. We are, as ever, on duty to talk through the action. Hello, everybody. And welcome to round 2. There's me closing the comms box door. And we've just uncovered the fact that Mr. Mather isn't here yet. He's going around getting some of the thoughts of the drivers after round 1. But don't you worry. We've got you covered for the start of race 1. And he will be joining us any time soon. So round 2, we're going into the endurance format now for this one. So 1 hour races, 3 1-hour races. Each team competes in 2 out of the 3. Note each team, not each uni, so you still may have a university represented across all 3 races if you're tuning in to support a particular uni. And the drivers compete in pairs. So the teams of 4 that we saw competing this morning, a team of 4 will split into 2 pairs, and each of those pairs will contest the race. Each team must do 2 pit stops in the process of the race. And they also must brim the tank at each pit stop. Here he is now, ladies and gentlemen, joining us in the comms box. Whilst he's getting himself set up, why don't we talk you very quickly, because they don't have the warm-up laps, through a grid for this race then. In fact, to that end, we are just going to talk in universities rather than going through each and every driver's name and try and pick them up as they come round. So, Leeds A start this one from pole. Nottingham Trent A alongside. Oxford Brooks C and Brooks B make up row 2. And then it's Loughborough C and Loughborough D on row 3. Row 4 is Exeter A and York A, Nottingham A and Brighton A round out your top 10. Row 6 is going to be Imperial A and Birmingham A. Bath B and Warwick C are on row 7. Row 8 is Warwick A and Sheffield A. Row 9 is University of Wales, Trinity St David B and Cambridge B. Manchester A and Warwick B round out your top 20. Row 11 is Huddersfield B and Huddersfield A. It's then Exeter B and Coventry B, and I'm just going to break away, maybe finish that off a little bit later, because we are good for the race start. Such is the nature of how the endurance races get going. They don't have warm-up, but it is Kieran Harrison who leads them away for race 1. We've got a few carts across the grass there. That's not the start that they wanted there. Oh, we've got a big impact there. Oh, and a driver out the cart. Dramatic start here. That is a nasty incident as they come under the bridge there. And understandably, yellow flags waving. We did have a driver coming out of the cart there. Multiple carts involved. Joe Bleakley has got to the front for Brooks C, but that is very much not the main focus here at the moment, given the incident that just happened there as they went under the Lichfield Bridge. The drivers working their way through full course yellows, and it's being called. We're hearing it's being called as a full start. The flags haven't gone out for that as such, but there's yellows all round. Oh yeah, there we go. There's the staff saying we are going back into rolling up. But that was a dramatic start there. We're going to see this. So Kieran Harrison leads them away, and then we're going to see some karts go cross-country here, including the number 8, that's Huddersfield, if memory serves correctly. And then as they rejoin it, no, it's a completely independent incident. It just happens there. Gosh, I still didn't see, even from that replay, quite how that all got started. It's not an area where you would usually expect to see, that's not where drivers are lifting off usually or braking, but kart spun around there and just caused everybody to file each side of it, I think. But dramatic stuff. Marshals are down on the scene. So we called a full start and we're going on rolling up laps again.
Whilst this is all going on, let's just, if we haven't recapped already, have we recapped on the results from round 1?
We have not had chance. No.
Okay, so here is your formal result from race round number 1. There were a few points changes, which apologies we didn't quite capture up here in comms. We did get the big 3 right. Oxford Brooks A, your round winners, 175 points ahead of Coventry A, second on 173. Nottingham Trent A, third on 171. Apologies, we did get the clubman call wrong. There were some changes in points earlier on in the round, which meant that Nottingham Trent B were your clubman winners on 156. We did call Brighton A correctly in terms of number of points. They had 152, but they take second place, and third place in clubman went to Oxford Brooks D on 150. Sorry. So that is where the trophies from round 1 went. Apologies, clubmans, we did make a bit of a mare of that one, but that sometimes happens with the spreadsheet will do.
Just a few announcements. Firstly, in order to get everything in, they've taken it down to 55-minute races. I'm going to try and finish off the grid that I didn't manage to start.
Okay.
I'm going to pick it up at row 11, which was an all Huddersfield affair. Huddersfield B and A. Exeter B and Coventry B were row 12. Row 13 was UWTSD Swansea A and Uni of Life. Then it was Coventry D and Hertfordshire A, De Montfort A and Aston A to round at the top 30. Then it was Loughborough A, Birmingham C, Cambridge A, Loughborough B, Oxford Brooks A and Swansea A. The number 60 of Warwick C, we think, was the kart that was predominantly involved in that incident, as we're going to roll up again, and it's because the number 60 is not a part of this train at this time. In fact, that's a different one, that's the 10. So that is going to be Warwick A, and it's interesting, that's Ben Street who's at the wheel of that one, I believe.
We should also mention, Howard, that you talked earlier about rule changes in the middle of the day. One's happened. It's now only one warning for track limits.
Yes, and that happened, to my knowledge, that happened midway through the last round in response to the number of track limits that we saw, I think. It seems to me that all karts are either rejoined or planning to rejoin. So I think, in spite of the dramatic start that we saw, we are going to have a full field, which is lovely to see. So two drivers from each team, as we were saying. Yes, sorry mate, I sort of tried to finish off your thing about the results there to try and get the grid in, but we had another lap of roll-up.
Yep.
Was there anything?
No, that was pretty much it.
Yeah. We are good, they're saying, for a start this time around, because the number 60 of Warwick C has rejoined the track. You can just see it there, tag on to the back of this field. I thought it was a good round, though, this morning.
It was indeed.
We're enjoying our first visit in the BUKC to this fantastic Paul Fletcher International circuit here in Lincolnshire. Somehow, we are being protected from, if any of the information we have weather-wise in the box here is correct, we are being treated. This wind that we keep talking about is actually protecting us from a lot of hail, snow, rain, all of it, apparently. but we will try and keep you updated as to the weather. We are good this time around then. Kieran Harrison once again will lead away the field for Leeds A. Now, he won on the road in race 1 of round 1, but was then disqualified for being underweight. So he has good pace here, so long as he is within the rules. Away we go for another attempt at this one. Good start from Nottingham Trent A from grid number 2. There's no cross-country antics through this time. There's still a bit of bumping and barging though, but I'm delighted to say that is significantly cleaner than the last time through, albeit that's a Nottingham Trent A car running at the back slowly. So what's happened to them?
And that was from P2 as well,
Yeah.
so something very strange there for the number 17 cars as they all file off the bridge for the first time in this endurance race.
It's David Haynes for Brooks B, who has come up to second place then to challenge Leeds A's Kieran Harrison as they all file through the now completely dry. A lot of drivers talking about a lack of grip out there, even though it has dried out, but still mercifully more grippy than it was this morning, as challenging for second place there is Exeter A with Rory Cuff, and he's got the job done there on David Haynes. David Haynes has a rear gunner in the form of Joe Bleakley in that Brooks C kart. And there for the lead now goes Rory Cuff. That's an aggressive but fair enough move there on Kieran Harrison. It's going to leave Kieran Harrison vulnerable to attack from David Haynes there, and indeed Haynes has got through. As they come round to finish this first lap, then it's going to be Rory Cuff for Exeter A as a penalty is issued for UWTSD A, which is a jump start 4 rows ahead of where they should have started. So that is going to be 8 positions deducted from them come the end of the race. Not sure what happened. There's a bit of cone debris there on the track.
Cone curling has begun then in 2020.
We were sent an image from David Whitehouse, the man who you've seen driving the pace kart here, as there's a Nottingham A challenging Joe Bleakley now. Nottingham A with it is Stefan Kessler at the wheel for them, who had a really strong sprint performance earlier on. But yeah, we were sent an image from David Whitehouse of our mate Colin the Cone, and he's not well. There was definitely a cone that got bullet. Oh, and Joe Bleakley there going across to try and cover off Nottingham A, Stefan Kessler. That was far too robust for it really frustrated Kessler, I can say that much. And it's allowed Oliver Wedden through for Loughborough D, and it's also allowed through the 18 of Sheffield A with Amy Jurger at the wheel. Actually, no, I think that's... Go back on that. I think it's Callum Barnett at the wheel of that one. But Joe Bleakley there, definitely causing some frustration for Stefan Kessler there. That was, to my mind, a bit of a late move to defend. Although in fairness to him, I'm not sure he was aware of quite how much overspeed the Nottingham car had on him at that point. He's now under pressure from Birmingham A's Oliver Basie Fisher. This is over 6th place now as they work their way through. So let's start. There is Joe Bleakley now trying to put a move in on Ollie Wedden. Now Ollie Wedden is a graduate, and so he's not eligible for points. That means that the Loughborough D effort in this race as a whole is not eligible for points, by the way. One ineligible driver makes an ineligible driver pair.
Whole round, actually.
Are they ineligible for the whole round? So their driver pairing for the other race that they will contest is not eligible for points either. So yeah, we've got these 3 55-minute races. They must do 2 pit stops. The pits will be closed at specific points in the race. There are 2 pit stop windows. Now, with the race going down from 60 minutes to a 55-minute race, I'm going to imagine that they will still have basically kept the same sort of idea. So for the first 5 minutes, for the first couple of minutes, excuse me, the pits are closed. For the final 5 minutes of the race, the pits are closed, and for a middle 10 minutes. In the hour race, it's between 25 and 35. I imagine they'll probably kept that the same here. So 25 and 35, they'll just trim it at the end of the race, so they'll close between 50 and 55 rather than 55 and 60. That would be how they would usually play it. You have to brim the tank at a pit stop. You don't technically have to do a driver change, though, at each stop. You could do a driver change at only one stop, but both drivers must contest a part of the race. You must do a driver change at least one of your stops.
It is a tactic we often see. Some of the teams will run a 40-20 split, perhaps.
Yeah, and this could be the interesting time, Andrew, because to my mind, we haven't got great visuals on the pitch from our comms position, but the pitch is presumably open at this time. As they come round to finish this lap. I will just double check I'll double check the pit windows for this, but it is going to be... No, it's the first 5 minutes that it's closed. Apologies. There's some series, the 100 series, where it's the first 2 minutes, or where it's the first 5. Here it's the first 5. So this time around will be the first opportunity for pitting if teams wish to do that. It does mean that it's a slightly more long-form way to follow a race, so there will be periods of this race where the pits are
very
pit
busy,
stops,
or
yeah, the
completely
pits,
empty.
indeed, and there will be points where the running order is thus not entirely representative. There'll be a middle point in the race where it's very representative. Hopefully we're going to be able to hand over to Jacob in the pits, because he's down there to talk to people as they come in. And I think we've got our first visitor to the pit lane as it happens. So look out for who that is. Should be fairly obvious on timing, because they will, at this point in the race, drop down fairly heavily. But just for the record, it was Rory Cuff leading for Exeter A as we go into this pit window, with Brooks being second, David Haynes at the wheel, and Leeds A's Kieran Harrison in third. As there's a cone penalty for Exeter A, so that means that they're... Oh, and Joe Bleakley just had a moment in hairpin 2 and came to a stop, and he's lost all momentum there. He's slopped back in. Apparently there was contact made that led to that. And Exeter A have received a penalty, so even if they win this race, yes, the penalties count the same, they are going to be deducted positions.
4 places?
For a cone, no, it's one. But all it means is that they cannot win this race. They can do it on the road, but it's not going to work. Aston A and Huddersfield B and Nottingham A and Huddersfield A strike me as the first pitters of the race. These teams trying to get the early pit stop, which traditionally, as Matthew Taylor is battling away there for Brooks A, we just saw coming through the shot. He started from the very back of this grid, by the way, so he's working his way through the field. But traditionally, pitting early is, on paper at least, the quickest strategy, because you have to bring the tank at each stop. By the time you're 5 minutes into a race, you've used very little fuel, so you spend less time brimming that tank, and there's no other point in the race where that balance gets readdressed. So in theory, on paper, the best strategy is to pit at the very beginning of each pit stop window, but that's on paper. That's not on circuit. That doesn't take into account many of the other variables, such as the predominant one is traffic, where you come out from the pit stop, where the driver is at psychologically, what kind of zone are they driving in? If they're setting really good pace, do you want to interrupt their flow, as it were, by bringing them in and swapping the driver out? If the conditions change, do you want to keep your current driver in, who's been learning the conditions for the last few laps, or do you want the unknown, as it were, of putting the new driver in? So even though that's perhaps the best strategy on paper, that does not transpire as the best in reality. Loughborough A have now pitted, De Montfort A have pitted, as have Warwick C. So quite a few early pitters here. No drop scores as well is the other key difference between the endurance and sprint format. So every single race counts. We're watching Holly Wedden in Loughborough D's kart, leading Cambridge B by the looks of it, and Oliver Basie-Fisher in the Birmingham A kart. Birmingham A have had, I want to say a challenging morning. I actually think we mean a challenging season so far, because the qualifiers was not great for them either. But this is the format where traditionally Birmingham tend to pull together well for the endurance race format. So I'll be interested to see how they get on at this point. They tend to be quite good at their pit stops. So we'll wait to see how they get on. For some teams, this will be their first time doing pit stops. Look out for Bournemouth in this round. They're having to get this right first time. There won't have been too many opportunities to practice it. Obviously we had the test days, but the focus on the test days is to get track time and to assess your drivers. But have they been savvy and maybe done a cheeky little bit of pit stop practice as well? We'll wait to see with that. Ollie Wedden coming under pressure. Being dealt some decent pressure here by Cambridge B, with Jonathan Collins at the wheel.
Sorry, I've been a bit quiet.
That's
I've
all
just
right.
been running through the numbers from this morning. Yeah, apologies, Brighton. I got 2 numbers wrong on the whole of the spreadsheet to do, and I called that one wrong. But yeah, Nottingham Trent took the win side by side.
That's Cambridge B on Loughborough A.
Yeah.
This is meaningless for points, and it says that Loughborough D are ineligible, but they're very much still a factor in this battle. And I think, no, he still hasn't got through, and this is meaning that Cambridge B are subjected to pressure from Birmingham A behind them. And this, of course, a battle within the Clubman subclass, with Birmingham A now down in the Clubmans relative to last year.
I've had a quick few chats with drivers just after their briefing as Cambridge go down the inside of Loughborough D again, and Ollie Basin Fisher is going to try and get the run on Welling as well, just slots in behind. Lots of drivers looking quite rosy in the cheeks on the account of the win.
Yes.
One driver in particular, Mark Cuthbert from Demont, was saying that he can feel his head being buffeted around as he's coming off the bridge. That's how strong the wind has been this morning.
And of course,
as Wedden takes a huge amount of curb there, throws him wide.
Makes a lot of sense, actually, Andrew, because of course as you come off the bridge, as we look
Birmingham
here,
in.
this is Birmingham in for a stop.
So this is Rory Smith getting in for Ollie Basie Fisher. And that looks like a fairly clean stop.
And I think, are we ready to hand down to the pit lane potentially here?
No.
Okay, we're not. We're trying a slightly different system today for working out whether we can hand down to Jacob. But yeah, it makes sense that you feel your head buffeted, because as you come off the bridge, of course, there could be all sorts of turbulent winds going on in between the placard, the two walls of the bridge, and then as you come off, it's a windbreaker, and then suddenly that gets taken away from you as well. So it makes absolute sense that the drivers are experiencing quite a lot of turbulence around that part of the circuit, as Ben Street in the Warwick A kart.
Just to say that Birmingham stop, it's kind of that's our first big one, isn't it, of those up at the front of the field.
Yeah.
It's worked out quite nicely. They've come out just behind. Actually, no, not just behind, with a bit of clear track. The next kart ahead is Manchester A and Ocean Beach. Exeter in. Leeds are in the pits. We're going to go down to Jacob Harris. Apologies, there's some technical issues down in the pits.
I think you're being kind. He's forgotten his microphone.
I wasn't going to tell him that.
But he's wearing a lovely fleece.
He is wearing
today.
a lovely fleece. Kindly provided to him by Double Dash Motorsport Media.
I think so. Your statement was. Exeter A have come in now, so it's not just Birmingham from those towards the front who are pitting. Now Exeter A, we wait to see where they have come out. But bear in mind, they can carry this forward because it's a longer race, it can be harder to remember these penalties. Exeter A have a penalty for cone abuse.
Yep.
So they will not win this race. That's the only team out there for which I can definitely say that. Actually, there's probably been a few other penalties, but they definitely cannot win this race. But they have come out in 11th. So that's the That's going to be the interesting spot when Brooks B pit, and I think that's the critical one, as the number 73 of Loughborough D pits, and so too does the 25 of Coventry B. So they get underway again.
It's quite intriguing, some of these pit stops. We saw them develop over the course of 2019. Both of us have had a little play with this ourselves and tried different things. At the start of the year, I think we saw a lot of teams trying to have multiple team members, because of course the thing is you don't have to push these carts anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You used to have 2 team members on the back of each cart, push them away in the TKM era. But that's gone now. For a while, a number of teams were trying out, dog watch. Now we know the BUKC has started. That's a fine looking mutt there. But yeah, at the start of the year we saw a lot of teams like they'd have a fuel cap holder, and his job was to start the thread once
The fuel had gone in.
Once the fuel had gone in, your driver's coming in, but that's often resulted, if you got it wrong, in a clash of legs and arms. It'll be interesting to see how many teams have shifted to what we saw in Club 100 Endurance, which is more of a leave the driver actually to do most of the work, because you can get going a lot easier with these cars with a starter.
You can. Big thing here though, Andrew. Brooks B have now pitted and have emerged ahead of Exeter A on the road. So I think that Brooks B are your net leaders at the moment once these pit stops are done. We've got an interview with Jacob down in the pit lane.
We're here with the Oxford Brooks team who have just pitted. Guys, what's the strategy?
Go fast, win.
Like that? Yeah. David stayed in the car. Is that a tactical decision?
He looks quick enough for a change, so he'll do.
Who's jumping in with him?
Your man here.
Excuse me, also just step you out. No. Can you win this one?
Yeah, of course. Why not? Optimism. Why not? We can win it.
He's showing good pace. Can you match it after your crash earlier?
Yeah, I think so. The pace looked good after a little crash, so should be fine.
There you have it, guys. Brooks out in front and looking confident.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Brooks A always look confident for me.
They do. I mean, I was saying how Birmingham are traditionally slightly stronger in the endurance. To my mind, in recent history of BUKC, Andrew, the kings of nailing endurances have, generally speaking, been Brooks. They just seem to always be there or thereabouts. I'm not saying they haven't had incidents before. I'm just saying they certainly in the early part of the season when we first hit this, I often feel like the endurances can take some teams by surprise.
Yep.
It's suddenly, it's not just an out-and-out race with all the time flat out. It's we've got to work together as a team and get these things right. That can sometimes trip up some teams. It doesn't trip up Brooks very often.
I did have a chat with Kyle in the lunch break. The bit between round 1 and round 2.
Sure.
An interview that you'll hear in full on the DD-Man podcast. As long as there's been no windage. He's actually saying that he feels since they've moved from the team, and that's the 86.
Yeah, that's what I just spotted. That is York A who have spun round there, and their engine seems to have come to, they're not able to get it started. Starter switched there just beyond the steering wheel.
We're going to head down to Jacob, who's got another team down in the pits.
Down here with Kieran Harrison. Kieran, disappointment this morning when you came in underweight, but it looks like you're making up for it in the endurance.
Yeah, I hope so. Currently third when I pitted there, or at least before everybody started pitting. Yeah, I'm looking to make up for it after I won the race this morning, and then silly underweight issue. But yeah, it's going well so far.
Who's just replaced you out on track?
It's Will Stacey. Yeah, he's pretty quick as well.
Will Stacey, the pressure's on you. Andrew and Howard, back up to you.
Thank you, Jacob. An exciting development in the comms box that we now both have a stool to sit on, which is good because we're getting tired in here. We now look like the world's worst ever episode of Blind Date.
I was going to say we're getting old here. Well, I have got lemon drizzle cake from Bath.
Yeah, Bath University currently leading the standings in the BUKC BUKC, the British University's Karting Championship cake competition, or cake championship. We need to work on that.
Solid starts from our reigning Inters champions.
Yep, they presented a lovely lemon drizzle cake variety, as Mr. Mather has said, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed, and being as we are the only two judges, that matters.
It does. 35 minutes to go. We were making the point about Oxford Brookes. Feel they have lost a level of their... I don't want to call it advantage, because it wasn't an advantage. They were just very, very good at it. It was something that they've worked a lot on.
A level of their strength.
The lack, an area of strength is because they don't do the push starts anymore.
Yes.
They feel that was an area where they were very strong. They don't have to do that anymore. Having said that, though, so I've not seen it yet at the BUKC, but I did see it in Club 100 last year. It was not streamed, but it's something that we took part, you and I. It is the pushing of the carts in the Rotax era is now allowed, and I think there's a bit of an argument for it.
Yeah.
Because if your driver is fumbling around for the switch for whatever reason, you're giving them a little bit of a push. They are still travelling distance.
Yes.
Better that much than just stationary in the pits for a couple of seconds. So.
Agreed. Incidentally, by the way, we are watching the battle for 8th here between the number 8 of Huddersfield A and the number 4 of Birmingham A. Huddersfield with at the moment it's Alan Walsh at the wheel of this one, unless you're about to miss correctly there, sir, and Rory Smith.
Oh, well, Walsh was wide there. Walsh was wide through sector 1 and through.
He's through.
Yeah, so Rory Smith has got through. Now let's see if we can get the hammer down. That's the Hertfordshire A carts just ahead of them in 7th place.
Yeah.
7th place.
And it's the UWTSD A cart behind them.
Yeah.
With, is it Sam Johns or Ben Gilbert at the wheel? It is Ben Gilbert, I think.
University of Life cart, illegible of course, is in the pits now for their pit stop.
It is.
We won't really care about them.
We won't. Sorry.
Oxford Brookes B then inherit the lead of the race. Imperial A, we've not really talked about Imperial A so far, but apart from the fact they've got my favourite number.
Sorry, Andrew, I think we just caught a move there just as we cut to it of Ocean Beach for Manchester A going by Leeds A.
And Rory Smith at the inside of Hertfordshire as well for 6th, as through goes Huddersfield as well in following.
Yep.
Are you saying Ocean Beach past
Leeds A, which is going to be, it's not going to be Kieran Harrison because we just had an interview with him. It's going to be Will Stacey at the wheel of that one.
Battle of the M62. I hope I've got that one right.
Yes, I think you have.
Side by side there with the 54. There, a lap down.
Sorry, in the back of shot, look at the train of carts we just caught at the back of that straight. That is a very tasty stream of carts.
Yeah, this is all from about 10th down.
It is. It's Brookes A are in 12th, Loughborough A in 13th.
Birmingham C ahead of Birmingham A to get out the way. Rory's coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got
a tricky place, tricky spot of the circuit to be caught there.
Yeah.
And the 54 will let the number 4 through, you'd think. Huddersfield will try and nip through as well. And they do so.
I just want to talk a little bit about these pit stops then, in what's actually happening. So the tanks get brimmed, the driver comes in, they have to bring the cart to a stop, turn the engine off, get out the cart, the fuel can then go in. Sorry, they need to unscrew the fuel cap whilst all that's going on, by the way. Then the fuel can go in. The teams need to, and this sounds obvious, the teams need to not lose the fuel cap in the following seconds. That can be quite common, particularly if a driver change is happening. If they're doing a driver change, the driver may want the cart done with slightly different settings, with pedals adjusted, or if you need to get lead ballast on or off of the cart, that needs to be done. That can all be done whilst the fuel is going in, and then fuel hose comes out. The fueling is done, by the way, by Club 100 staff. The teams are not in charge of their own fueling. It's all done with the same equipment by Club 100 attendant. Then the fuel's gone in. Driver can jump back in, the fuel cap can go back on, and the engine can be started by hitting the start switch. And as Andrew was talking about earlier on, you can have different roles, you can do that different ways. You could have the driver whose job it is to put the fuel cap on and flip the switch, or you could have someone whose job it is to start the fuel cap for them, or anything.
We've ditched that, haven't we?
We have, yes. We have ditched that. We've tried several things because Andrew...
Mr. Whitehouse going for a run there.
Okay. Andrew and I competing in the Club 100 Endurance Championship, which is, of course, done in the same machinery, have a fair bit of experience of pit stops in the Club 100 Rotax Evo era in particular. And, yes... I mean, you're talking about small margins either way, but as Andrew was saying, if you're pushing the driver, you can get into the car as the driver, flick the switch with the fuel cap sort of roughly in the vicinity of where it needs to be, and then worry about screwing it on as you come down the pit. So long as you're still not adjusting the fuel cap as you get onto the circuit, you are fine and within the letter of the rules.
You also don't have a painful area.
You also avoid any fuel coming out of the tank and ending up anywhere on the driver, which can cause some agitation, as the man who stood next to me in the comms box can attest to.
Oh, yes.
I would like to...
Let me tell you, I had some slightly different settings that day as well.
Yes, he did. He absolutely did. I have never... I mean, I came out to congratulate you after a good qualifying session, but he just ran straight past me for the circuit's facilities. Anyway, I wish to talk about the running order because we're coming up to the halfway mark. I believe the pits are currently closed, and that means that we have a representative order here because all teams have made their first pit stop. So at the front, as I say, the lead battle is going on here, and yes, indeed, a change from the lead has just happened there because that, yeah, absolutely, because Exeter A have just got past Brooksby on your screens, but Exeter have a cone penalty. So even though they now lead on the road, still with Rory Cuff at the wheel, that looked like to me when we saw him just a second ago, they are not your net leaders, but it is they who lead on the road. Oxford Brooks B with Dan Burgess now at the wheel are in second. As you can see, they are kind of nose to tail. Here they are. Manchester A having a really good run of it in third place, further 6 seconds back. Ocean Beach currently at the wheel. He's sharing this drive with, just to give them credit as well, Ollie Phillips. Do I mean that? I'm not sure I do mean that. It's Ollie Phillips and Jack Burgess, but that doesn't make sense because I've definitely seen Ocean Beach out there.
So it's a bit of a switch. But I've got to say, we've not talked much about Ocean so far this season.
We haven't actually.
He's
That's
been
a very good shout.
Quiet.
Yes.
Out on track. He's not been quiet in the mean competitions, of course, because
he's on fire.
Arguably the Lando Norris of the BUKC, in that he is a mean lord himself.
Indeed.
This has been a really solid drive of Ocean so far.
Yep.
Third place.
Yeah, and he's 2 seconds up the road from fourth placed kart number 4 of Birmingham A. Currently with Rory Smith at the wheel. You can just see the number 4 came into shot just then. Sharing that drive with Oliver Basie Fisher.
I've got to say, I do think psychologically that win for Rory and the Birmingham team in race 6 was huge. Whoa, massive moment there for the 95, right ahead of Rory.
Yeah.
That's a reset for me. That is a complete hard reset on their season. Forget about what's happened at qualifiers. Forget what's happened in the first 3 races of the sprint this morning. The Birmingham season starts now.
Yeah, and if they can get the team around that, other clubman teams should start to be worried.
Yes,
I think it's fair to say. Behind Birmingham A is Huddersfield A, currently with Aaron Walsh at the wheel. He's sharing that drive with Sam Tiernan. So they are in 5th place. Then it's UWTSD A in 6th, a further 2 seconds down the road. A second behind them is Leeds A in 7th. Hertfordshire A is just behind them. So a good battle happening out there between the 34 and the 98 of the 7th place. Brighton A are a couple of seconds behind them. And rounding out the top 10 is Nottingham Trent A in 10th place. And they currently have the fastest lap of the race, a 1:09.922. Obviously, weight classes are not a thing in this race format, incidentally. So this morning we were all talking about lightweight races and heavyweight races when it needed to be 75 and 82 kilos respectively. Now it is just a straight 75 kilos, unless I'm going to be horrendously mistaken. But I read the rule book last night, so I think I'm not. As coming in for their second stop, there is the number 81 of York. I assume it's their second stop. A team that have had some drama thus far. We saw them spun out on the latter corner of the lap. So they're trying to work their way up. Here is your race leader on the road there, number 5 of Exeter 8, but with the penalty hanging over them. The only other penalty that we've seen issued so far. Oh, here's an interesting one, Andrew. I missed this one. Black flag was given to Hertfordshire 8 for failing to fuel.
Ooh.
That's
So they must have jumped in, done a driver change, and just gone bye-bye.
yeah. In fact, they maybe didn't even stop near the fuel bowser.
Yep.
And you know what? That is Hertfordshire making their return to the mains. This is one of our teams who have come back in from the Intermediate Championship, and here is also the 98 of Hertfordshire A making that stop. So here they are doing it properly. This is Hertfordshire A fueling as it should be done. But I think this is their black flag. Indeed, yes, that's why there's so many Club 100 officials around. So they've now fueled and will be sent back out again. But difficult times there for Hertfordshire, but this is what we talk about. This is what I mean when I say that this format can take some teams by surprise, not least those who are maybe returning to it, or if you're Bournemouth, for example, who are taking part in this format for the very first time. It's definitely a factor.
This is going to please you, isn't it?
Oh, seeing what? Seeing the penalty given in this particular instance. Yeah, it is. It is. I've got nothing against Hertfordshire.
But you are a bit of a stickler for pit lane rules.
I am a bit of a stickler for the pit window rules. Yes. Yes. This is making me sound like a real hardliner. This is, but it's important. It's important for this format of racing that when we do it, everyone's abiding by it, and there's no, if you are outside the pit window by 30 seconds, then you're outside the pit window by 30 seconds. We don't. If they close the pit lane in Formula 1, they don't say, we only just flipped the switch though, so we'll let it happen. So it's a harsh blow for Hertfordshire, but that is the right thing that they come in now and fuel properly, because of course it is an advantage to run around with less fuel in the cart, and of course none of the time taken that's needed to fuel the car, which usually forms the bulk of the pit stop. That is another penalty. Oh, we've got multiple penalties coming in together here. Another penalty for Coventry D of 2 positions, and Warwick C, the number 60, have just had that as well. So they're down 2 positions come the end of the race, as Birmingham A have just got past Manchester A on track. So that is Rory Smith, who has found his way past Ocean Beach, the 4 now ahead of the 26. Just looking to see if I can pick up where they are on circuit. We've just seen the 13th place Nottingham A de Montfort sort of battle go through, which means, yes, Rory Smith and Ocean Beach heading out of hairpin 2 now, and Aaron Walsh in the Huddersfield car is right with them as well. They're going through the central chicane at this point, as there's a penalty for Huddersfield B for ABC. So that will be a 4-place penalty for them come the end of the race as well. Don't forget, live.alphatiming.co.uk/BUKC, and you can see all of the timing that we can see, an enhanced version, if you will, of the timing tab that's to the left of your screens as you're watching this stream.
Sorry, mate, I've just tuned back in, and we noted that Rory has now got past
we have.
Yep,
That was a lap or so ago.
So this is a good battle here, just getting past number 53. Fighting through there. Remember, you can get in contact with us. There's another penalty. Is that a repeat showing a penalty for Warwick C, mate?
I'll check.
You can get in contact with us in the box on Twitter at Double Dash MM. Use the hashtag BUKC2020. Let us know who you're supporting. There's a lot of support in the comments of the streams for Loughborough. And at the moment they're doing all right, 9th place. Oh, there's a spinner in the middle of the chicane. That is not a great area to be stopped. Can't quite capture what the number was. never mind.
We'll look out for a...
So Exeter lead, but have that cone penalty. So at the moment, Oxford Brooksby didn't really have that kind of morning they would have expected. They finished 10th. So it's not too bad. And especially in this age of Road Tax Club 100 and BUKC, I do genuinely think it's pulled the field together.
Yes.
Now, last year we saw a very competitive BUKC that twisted and turned, and we had, I'd say, 6 teams that were genuine championship contenders, those being the 2 Brooks teams, A and B, Loughborough A, Exeter A, and then of course our eventual champions, Coventry. As Ocean Beach is a little look down the inside of Rory Smith there into hairpin number 2.
And as we see that, bad news for Birmingham and Brighton in the form of them both receiving track limit penalties.
Is that Birmingham
C?
C, okay. Rory Smith struggles to try and find a way past that back marker there as they into the latter parts of the circuit. Just trying to look out for where they are on start-finish. There is a pit stop for Exeter A. And that looks like Ryan Luscombe to me, Howard, getting into the karts. And the number 8 is in as well, Huddersfield A. Oh, and they've lost time. They've lost time there at the fuel bowser. That could be crucial. And we are going to head down into the pit lane. I believe Mr. Harris has one of the drivers from Exeter A.
Rory, really strong start to this endurance race. Can Ryan bring it home?
Yeah, I'm sure. I saw we got a cone penalty though, so I'm not sure we'll be able to come home in first. But I see they've also moved the cones back from where I clipped it, so it's a bit annoying. But it is what it is. Good start, and yeah, I'm sure Ryan will be strong now.
5th place in round 1. Can you go any better in round 2?
Oh yeah, I should hope so. Certainly.
There you have it. Back to you guys up in the commentary box. Cheers, Ryan.
Cheers, Jacob. Number 95 just coming out the pit lane there. So we're into that phase of the race where pit's getting very busy now. There goes the Nottingham Trent entry. And the number 37. So quite a few teams in the pits there. That must mean that somebody got held up in the pits. The number 37.
Extra B.
Thank you. Way down the order. There is your second place karts, the Birmingham A kart, Rory Smith.
And Leeds A are considering the pit lane as well, Andrew. They're quite high up in the order as well.
Penalty for Loughborough A for multiple track limits, so that's going to be 2 positions for them. And a penalty for Brooks C as well, also multiple track limits. So they're starting to stack up. The drivers have been warned about this as well, repeatedly by John Viger and the Club 100 staff. There is the number 73, Loughborough D.
So, interestingly, Kieran Harrison now at the wheel of that Leeds A effort, and he was a driver who, being underway to side, and being disqualified from the result, did have extremely impressive form this morning. He takes over the Leeds A kart, which is, he started that effort at the start of this race. So Leeds have done the classic drive rotation, if you will. So he's taken that kart back over from Will Stacey's. There's a penalty for Huddersfield A as the 49 of UWTSDB are in the pits. That penalty is for multiple track limits, so that will be 2 for Huddersfield A off 2 positions, that is, at the end of this race, as the number 12 of UWTSD-A comes in. So University of Wales, Trinity St David doing their 2 pit stops in quick succession. Brighton A are in as well. Now they're pitting from quite high up, Andrew. Brighton having a really good run here today.
De Montfort in as well. I can see Mark Cuthbert in the background there sorting things out. All of a sudden, we've got 16 minutes of this first Enduro to go.
Yeah.
Brooksby looking pretty good at this stage of the race. 32 laps in. Haven't made their second pit stop yet. We know Exeter A have that penalty. 17.2 seconds is the gap on the road at this very moment between Brooksby and Exeter A.
I want to talk a little bit about pit times, if you are following along your timings. I want to give an example. Just pitted, just out the pits, were UWTSD A with a 1 minute 40 lap time. Now, that's their entire tour of the circuit plus the pit stop. Brooks B, their first pit stop.
Yep.
Granted, there may have been slightly less fuel put in, although they did pit fairly much in the middle of that stint, pit window, as I recall. Did a 1 minute 29.
Ooh.
So Brooks are genuinely on it with these pit stops. I may have picked a particularly unfair example, but Brighton A just did a 1 minute 36. So Brooks are quick, as
Spin
York.
for the number 81
Yeah.
in hairpin number 2.
That's York.
Trying to go for a move on another driver. They're going again now. And it's a penalty for multiple track limits for the 86. Sorry, the 81 was not York.
Apologies, that was my bad.
It was. Apologies down toward the bottom of the order.
It's Cambridge B.
Thank you.
And actually, that was a team who were featuring slightly higher up the order earlier on, because Jonathan Collins was doing a good stint for them earlier on. And indeed, if it's still a white suit and white helmeted driver, it is indeed still Jonathan Collins. Who
Yeah,
is
it was.
In the, okay, so he had an incident there at hairpin 2.
Trinity B, penalty for them. You guessed it, track limits, so that's 2 positions for them. I've got to say, if you're towards the front of the field right now, I think this endurance race is turning into a story of just keep your nose clean, because there's going to be a lot of teams out there. Brighton A just received their second track limits penalty of the race, so they're going to be down 4 at the end. It's going to be quite a few movers and shakers from provisional results once the checkered flag comes out in around 14 minutes time. But Rory Smith, 2.7 seconds behind Oxford Brooks B, and
that's representative,
yeah,
Andrew, because neither of them have served their second stop yet. I think Exeter A might have done.
Yeah, Exeter A have pitted.
17 seconds down, yeah, absolutely. So we're just waiting to see with Brooks B and Birmingham A how their last stops go with this one. Exeter A are a factor, definitely, but bear in mind they have a penalty to be applied.
Yeah.
But that's the key thing, is, you know, keeping it clean. I know we started keeping track of this one. I will try and boot up the old spreadsheet or something for the next race, because we started the penalty count in a little corner of a page of a notebook, and now we've run out of space. As there's a penalty for York, again, for multiple track limits, so now they're going to be deducted 4 spaces, 4 positions at the end of the race, regardless of the gap. And I'll emphasise that again. Time used to be the unit of measurement for a penalty in the BUKC, but that changed in 2019.
University of Life just came out of the pits, the 110. Sorry about that, I think towards the bottom of the order anyway. Yeah, they are in 28th place. Into the pits then. This is the number 14 by the looks of it, which is Cambridge A.
It is. They are pitting from the low teens, low 10th, 9th,
around
place.
10th place.
Yeah. As they get away now. So that is going to be, who's in that Cambridge cart for this one?
2.1 seconds. Whilst Howard just checks on that for us. 2.1 seconds now, the gap between first and second.
Yeah, it's
We've got
down.
a race on here.
We have.
Brooks B. Apologies, do we know who's in the Brooks B? Is it Daniel Burgess?
It's David Haynes and Daniel Burgess. Daniel Burgess currently at the wheel. And just to finish off in Cambridge, it's the 2 Sams, Sam Massey and Sam Gerrard.
So that means they've got 3 Sams.
Oh, yeah. There's 2 of the
well.
Sams. The number 6 is in. That being Loughborough B, but this has not really gone to plan for them.
Move by Sheffield. Sheffield A have got out ahead, or overtaken out on circuit Manchester A. That was for 4th place as it stands. Number 54 re-emerges on circuit. They are currently in 35th place, Birmingham C. Just over 10 minutes of this one to go. The lead gap, I'm just trying to see where the leaders are. 1 second now the gap. And here it is.
Oh, and there it's done. No, sorry,
that
it's not
the lead.
quite.
That was on the 14, but this is Rory Smith now, closing in on Daniel Burgess in the number 3. In fact, where has the number 3 gone? Is
It's
the
in
number
the
3
pits.
in?
Is it
Yes,
in the
they are.
pits?
So Oxford Brooks B pit. Now, this is really crucial for this race. Where are they going to come out in relation to exit? Whoa, as someone nearly gets run over there. That wasn't the Brooks driver's fault. That was a driver not applying the green cross code.
And it's Daniel Burgess stays at the wheel of that one, I think.
Now, where do they come out now? I think they're out behind. I think they're out behind Exeter A.
I agree. But still, Andrew, check, these lap times are impressive. A 1 minute 30.114 for Brooks B. That is a good stop by all the measures that I've had in front of me throughout this race. So it's a competitive showing from Brooks B.
Ryan Luscombe is just coming through hairpin number 1 now. And I think that's a Brooks car behind. Just have another check. There is the number 5 coming through hairpin 2 out of our window. Birmingham are in. Yes, so Brooks B are on track at least, out behind Exeter. But once Exeter's penalty is applied, they will inherit that position. Unless Birmingham get out ahead. This is a really crucial stop. Let's see how Birmingham work on this. It's going to be
Basie Fisher.
Basie Fisher getting back in.
Yep.
Now you can see there, they're still trying with the other team member get the cap on for the driver. There's two spinners in hairpin number 1. And there he is. Is that the battle for the lead? Yes, it is. And Brooks have got out ahead. That's how close it was. Brooks B have got out ahead of Birmingham. Now, Oliver Basie Fisher has got to really attack now, because this effectively is for the race win. Once Exeter take their penalty, the 2 spinners in hairpin 2 have resolved themselves and got going again. I don't know if you caught who it was, Howard.
I did. It was Hertfordshire A and Huddersfield B, mate, who were in a battle over 31st place.
Okay, but this effectively is your fight for the 60 points now. Brooks B versus Birmingham A. Both did not have particularly good round 1s. And Oliver Basie Fisher down the inside for Birmingham and takes the lead. Decisive as that.
And that is for the net lead. Make no mistake about it. We know that Exeter A have that penalty. And could it be, Andrew, that the team who we have been chastising I was trying to think of the appropriate word there, but
the word is chastising, isn't it?
For suffering from penalties could, if they can keep it clean, and ironically Loughborough C have just had a track limits penalty issued, so they will also be deducted 2 positions at the end.
So
Birmingham could win this because of a penalty for Exeter.
Good scraps going on up and down the field. We are getting into the latter stages. Less than 3 minutes of available pit time to go. Here is Basie Fisher. Very experienced driver who's won races in the BUKC before. He started his BUKC racing at the University of Reading. Who did make it into the mains 1 year off the back of his exploits. Moved to Birmingham, doing a postgrad in computer science. Wasn't at the qualifiers, which some would maybe think was quite crucial in how Birmingham raced.
Well,
the qualifiers.
I do have him down as a very, one of the good guys of the paddock, but a clean racer.
Yeah.
Who's going to keep it within the letter of the rules, generally, is to Basie Fisher. So, in hindsight, you'd say perhaps an important influence that was needed on that day. But this is so far much better stuff from Birmingham A. A further 4 seconds down the road, as there's a track limits penalty for UWTSD B. 4 seconds down the road from this, we should give mention to Manchester A still having a top drive out there.
Yeah.
In 3rd place net, once penalties are applied. And Sheffield A having a good run of it as well. Sheffield, as there's a further track limits penalty, so that's 6 positions lost through for Huddersfield B now. Sheffield, Andrew, if memory serves correctly, were generally strong in endurances last year as well.
Yeah, it's kind of been the thing with Sheffield for the last few years. Some years they've been there in Prems. It's the first time I've really used this word in this year's championship. They're almost the ultimate disruptor.
Mm-hmm.
they've often struggled to be able to field more than 2 drivers of a Premier class level, which sometimes can mean that they'll put the 2 Premier level drivers together and be able to pull results like this in. And I think that's definitely the case, because it's Callum at the moment, isn't it, and Abby Bjerger, both very strong drivers, experienced drivers. It's whether they can do that with the second pair of drivers later on in the afternoon. If they can, they're standing a really good chance today, along with Birmingham, of being on the podium when it comes to Clubman's at the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm now putting -8 next to Huddersfield. They actually got track limit warnings in such quick succession, I can't tell whether it's a repeat showing or it's 2 penalties. I'm going to assume the worst for them, but they definitely need to rein that in their next race, which will be their last race of the day. As I say, 2 races each team contests out of the 3 we're going to have for you in round 2 this afternoon here from Paul Fletcher International.
Brighton A having another really strong run here, currently in 9th place. Pit window has now closed because we are less than 5 minutes away from the end of the race.
Yeah, which means I'm going to start having a quick look through for who's close on the road. Obviously the battle between Birmingham A and Brooks B is still going on.
Hang on, no, I'm wrong there, because the race distance has been shortened by 5 minutes. So the pit window is actually open all the way to the checkered flag.
No, I thought they tended to trim that in such that they'll close it 5 minutes before the end anyway. Could be wrong.
Could be wrong, because Sheffield have just pitted. So 13th place now for them. Still, this is your effective battle for the lead. X to A with that cone penalty from very, very early in this race, meaning that Birmingham A at the moment are set up to score 60 points. They'll still have 1 more race to go this afternoon, which will be actually the final race of the day. 3 of these Enduros across the course of this afternoon makes up round 2 of the BUKC 2020, and putting themselves in a nice position here to have a good go. Start 25th in race number 3, so they'll have some work to do from the back of the field between Josh White and Jake O'Sullivan.
You're absolutely bang on, by the way, mate. They are keeping the pits open until the end, which means you could see someone dive into the pits on the very last lap.
Oh, dude, Michael Schumacher, Silverstone 98.
Do you know, maybe we're spending too much time together, but I knew you were going to say those exact words.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. Greatest season of Formula 1 ever, 1998. And this chap, well, you could argue, he's pretty high up there in the number of drivers who've driven for Birmingham over the years.
Yeah.
I do feel sorry for Exeter though, because they have
7 seconds
driven
at the
brilliantly.
road.
They've just set the fastest lap of the race, which is a 1:09, and that's the first 1:09. That's the first 1:09 we've seen all day. And I will refer back to this morning's data.
I'm going to politely disagree and say that Trent already had the fastest lap previously, a 1:09.922.
Okay.
Just to be, sorry. That was
But the people of Fatgate, I'd go and have a look at the data from this morning between lights and heavies heats.
You've got to ignore the first few races because of the changing conditions.
Yeah, have a look at races 5 and 6.
Yeah.
I was saying this last year, I don't really think there's that much difference between the heavies and the lights. If you've got the talent to pedal, you've got the talent to pedal. And we've been seeing that for the last 18 months in the main Club 100 ranks. The fastest driver in the main Club 100 ranks, Mr. Joe Holmes, is a heavyweight. Although I do quite like it. I quite like the different dynamics of the heavies and the lights races.
Yeah.
Whether it's absolutely needed here in the BUKC, I'm still not convinced. Little glance up to the teams there. They're on the last lap. And I think both of them realise that this is for the win once Exeter's penalty is taken into account. But both teams need these points for slightly different reasons. That number 35 is looking pretty racy behind them as well.
I just want to cover a good battle, actually, just as we come to the close. Nottingham A, Loughborough A.
Sorry, Howard, to cut across you. Burgess having a look down the inside of Basie Fisher, going into hairpin number 1, and it's forced him wide as well. That's a very nice move from Daniel Burgess. He'll defend now into hairpin number 2. The number 35 still getting involved as well. And is that a move to give Oxford Brooks B the win on the last lap of the race? Oliver Basie Fisher trying to find a way through. Will he try and get underneath into the right-hander? We're looking at Exeter A, but they're not going to win this race once penalties are applied. But I think Burgess has done this. What a move that was.
Basie Fisher's going to try and get a switchback, but I don't think it's going to be enough, Andrew.
No, the time is up. The last lap board is out. The checkered flag is over the line. Exeter take the win on the road, but they have a penalty. Daniel Burgess takes the win for Oxford Brooks B. And it's that close, 1/10 of a second between Brooks B and Birmingham A. Great result for Manchester A. They finish in 4th. Then here's your battle for 5th place.
Yeah.
It's Huddersfield A on the road at least, but they have penalties. Oxford Brooks A finish 6th. Good result for them. 7th for Brighton A. Very strong result. And here's the
big
scrap
battle
for 8th place. And Joe Bleakley. Ooh, that's a little bit naughty in my book, Joe. A little bit unnecessary, but over the line. Brooks C take 11th, Nottingham A 12th, Brooks C 8th, Nottingham A 9th, Trinity A 10th, Loughborough A 11th, Leeds B 12th, Sheffield A 13th, De Montfort A 14th, Cov B 15th, Trent A 16th.
And that
Not
was
the same form that we saw from them in the sprints this morning. 17th will go to Warwick A, there it is. I think they might be a bit disappointed with that. Not the kind of result that we'd expect from Warwick in Endurances, who've been pretty strong in this format the last few years. 18th was Cambridge, 19th was Loughborough D, 20th Exeter B.
And it was
that was a good finish.
It was, yeah. The battle towards the end there between Brooks C, Nottingham A, UWTSD A, Loughborough A and Leeds A, which were from 8th down to 12th, was nice and close for the last few laps actually. They were changing positions. So that was nice. Obviously we were keeping eyes at the front, as we should be when it's that close, but that was really good stuff. Perfectly timed, of course, by Brooksby to take that win.
I've just realised that's almost a bit of deja vu to Bookmore Park last year in round 2, where Carl Norby took a race win away from Simon Morton, I think it was, on the last lap of a race.
It is indeed.
Steele a win away from Birmingham again.
Yeah, and for me, sorry Andrew, but for me, a lot of penalties as well. They've got to try and clean that up, because there's a lot of teams that are going to be disappointed when they see the confirmed results, methinks. Let's head down though to Jacob, who's going to segue us beautifully towards race 2.
Down here in the pits, we are awaiting our race winners, Oxford Brooks B. I feel like I may have had an undue influence on the outcome of that race. I told Dan Burgess just before he jumped in the cart that he didn't have to race who he was racing, which I meant Exeter, because they had a cone penalty. I'm conscious that he might have thought up until the last lap, when everyone was frantically waving at him, that he didn't need to overtake Ollie Basie Fisher. We'll check with him now though, as Dan jumps on the scales over there just to confirm he is indeed over 75 kilos. Just want to double check. You know, I told you don't need to race the guy you were racing. You didn't think that was him, did you?
Yeah, I did. And then like 2 minutes to go, I see my teammate Dave in the stands, like he's number 1. So I was like, oh shit, I better overtake him now. Yeah,
so they came out of the car and I said, you just pitted from the lead. He said, oh no, I went off. The guy just got me in Birmingham.
I didn't realise. I had no idea as well. I was under the same thing as you. I was like, oh, I'll just follow him round, you know, easy. And then
so he came back out ahead of Exeter, who had the cone penalty, I think now third on track, but would have been 4th overall with that. Just don't listen to me in future.
Yeah, well, I'll try to, but, you know, sometimes.
Anyway, irrespective of my influence, a solid race from yourself and David.
Yeah, it was great. It was very good, so can't complain, can we? So.
Brooks are back on top as of today.
Yeah, stay that way too, I guess.
Giving it large on social media pays off.
Oh, why not? You got to challenge him a bit, haven't you? So, yeah.
Exactly. Right, thank you very much. And I'll grab Ollie Basie Fisher just as soon as he's jumped on the scales. Looks like everything is okay for him. Ollie had a chance to win it there at the end. A bit of misfortune for Brooks brought you back into it, but unfortunately you couldn't just stick it to the end.
Well, I had no idea it was for position. That's the most irritating part. If I'd known, I might have put a more stout defence at the end there, but it is what it is. Yeah, I just wasn't aware that he was. It was all for position. I overtook him early on in my stint and just assumed it was someone else, a lap down marker. He didn't bother overtaking me for the entire time, so I assumed it was just someone biding their time behind me and not really too bothered by position. It wasn't until I came across the line and saw him celebrating, I thought, oh, bugger.
So Rory caught up to his teammate after a little bit of an incident, and you came into the pits actually ahead of them. You came back out just behind Mr. Burgess, I believe. So I told Dan that he didn't need to race who they were racing, because that was Exeter, who had a cone penalty. And as you both crossed the line there on the last lap, the entirety of the Brooks support was get ahead of him. And that's why he lunged you at the hairpin.
Oh, it's frustrating, but that's endurance racing for you. I was hoping my team were going to be on the sidewall, because I came onto the final lap, no one was there, so I assumed I was all good and there was nothing to do. It wasn't until he lunged me fairly heavily into the hairpin I thought, oh, this might be for position, let alone the lead of the race. So a bit frustrating, but all in all, still a really good race from both myself and Rory. Rory put in a fantastic stint. He's been a supreme driver all day. So overall, nice finish to the day.
Thanks for chatting with us, Ollie.
Pleasure as always.
See you again next round. Your helmet's by here, I think. I can keep it if you need, but I've got interviews to do. Right, we are just refueling the carts ready for the next round. Not quite sure why drivers haven't been given access to the pits. Let's go over here and chat to Stephen Letts, who is apparently in this race. Stephen, out in this one?
Yeah.
What position are we talking?
Starting 16th.
And who are you sharing with today?
Alex Gunn.
Do you have faith in his abilities?
Yeah, dream team that, mate. Dream team.
Can we expect to see the two of you top step of the podium later?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Okay. What about the others? I guess it's Sam and Aaron, is it? Is that the best four you can come up with?
I mean, they got fourth in that from 22nd. I think they got a penalty there, I don't know what for. So if it was a fourth, that would have been really good. But Aaron's came fourth in 2 races and had 2 penalties. Yeah. Usually that's me, so what can I say?
I was going to say it's a little bit of a role reversal, that, isn't it, from what normally happens. But decent result. You know, that's good enough to get you on the podium for round 2, as long as you guys bring it home.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to snow though.
You reckon it's going to snow?
Yeah.
Okay. What makes you say that?
Because it's starting to.
That would be a dead giveaway, wouldn't it, really? Yeah, some grey clouds coming in from whatever direction that is as well. How are you in changing conditions? Obviously, in your race earlier, I think there's a little bit of a downpour then as well.
That's quite good earlier. So yeah, we'll find out, but it depends. I've been around this track quite a lot in a lot of conditions, so I should be alright. Alex has never been here, so that might be different for him.
You'll just have to be that shining beacon of light that shows him the way.
Yeah, basically.
All right, well, thanks for chatting with us. I'm going to move on to one of our Coventry drivers, actually, George Bridson. And let's shuffle in here. George, sorry to interrupt. Can I have a quick chat? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. How's your day at PFI going?
It's been a bit mixed. I got taken out in the first race and then hit a wet patch, and all the racing driver excuses have come out. So I'm looking forward to a better endurance.
Dropped to the B team this year, although you won a race. I had to mention it. You won a race at qualifiers. How does that feel?
I mean, you look at the drivers that have come into the team, you know, it must have been an incredibly difficult decision for the guys that run the BUKC team for Coventry to make. You know, I'm just going to go out and race my own races and do my best.
Who you partnered up with for this one?
Pavlo. He's new. He's one of our new guys. He's quick though.
He is.
He raced for Ukraine in the Euros. So.
You raced for Ukraine in the Euros. Do you reckon the two of you can get a result?
We'll see. I'm not going to. Every time I say something, I'll jinx it.
So no then, is what you're saying?
We're going to be rubbish.
There you have it. George Bridson from the horse's mouth is going to be rubbish. Kyle Morby is on the front row for this one. Kyle, it's been a very, very good day for Brooks so far. Is it going to continue in this race?
It has. I didn't realise we were doing mixed weights now.
Yes.
Go on.
So it's endurances.
Yeah, I know, but I thought we were still doing lights and heavies.
How did that work?
Yeah, I know it wouldn't.
How would that work?
Yeah, but I'm just. You've got to allow it. We've had
Think about these things.
I know.
Put a bit of thought into it.
I haven't. I've not done it at all. So that's going to be fun.
Got enough lead on there?
Need about -10.
Who are you partnered up with for this?
I'm with Piers. So we've done the two heavyweight boys together.
See, and you both had very strong races coming through from the back earlier on. Does that bode well for this afternoon?
I would hope so. We can only see.
Anyone further back down the field you're worried about?
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Everyone. There's a lot of quick people on this grid, I think. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Never say never. Is that the right phrase? Oh, we've used it now anyway.
There we go. Well, let's just end on that, shall we? There goes your number plate. I'll let you chase after that.
Up my day now.
Cheers, Kyle. Kyle will be there with a lot on his plate. Let's shuffle back down, see who we've got lining up. Sam Lovelace is here. Sam, I spoke to you earlier. I thought I'd speak to you again since you had such a great race after I interviewed you.
Yeah, I know. It's lucky Charlie, well.
Plenty of overtaking, siding through the pack. Can you do what you did earlier and set the pace in this race?
I hope so, but I've got a few good boys ahead of me, so it'll be difficult.
Who's joining you in the De Montfort A team?
I've got Johnny Knight with me, taking over in the second stint. So.
And how do you rate his abilities? Are you going to carry him or is he going to carry you?
I rate him very highly. I think he's got good potential, so we'll see if he
So things looking good for De Montfort A then?
What was that?
Things looking good for De Montfort A?
Yeah, looking positive. We're on the up, I think.
Well, good luck for the race. I shall speak to you later.
Thank you.
De Montfort A team. We haven't spoken much to University of Trinity, St David, Wales, North, South, West, East. And Harry Farnhill's in the cart. Harry, not the best of days for your university.
No, we haven't had a good day. Sam got second earlier, but I had a bit of mechanical in it. Yeah, see what we can do in this one, but it's good fun anyways.
Is Sam joining you in this one?
No, got Ryan, so one of the new guys who's made the step up to the A team this year. Yeah, see how it goes, isn't it?
And what are you expecting from this race?
I don't know, just have fun to be honest with you after this morning. Yeah.
All hell has broken loose for the University of Wales, Trinity St David. Andrew and Howard have just started calling you Trinity. Is that all right with you?
Oh yeah, cool, yeah. That or Swansea Met, as long as I'm not saying all of it, that's all right then.
Yeah. So what confuses me is there's a Trinity College in Cambridge, and they turned up in hoodies earlier. It's like Trinity, and I thought it was you, and then it's not you.
I should just do Swansea Met. That'd be simple. That Swansea Met.
Swansea Met it is. All right, you have a good race.
All right, good, mate.
Let's see if we can sneak in one more interview. We've spoken to Stephen Letts. We've got Lucas Sullivan down here, who I neglected to speak to on the grid earlier. Lucas, quick chat. I didn't speak to you earlier, but you did have a very good race.
The first, everything apart from the last lap was good.
What can you expect from this one?
Hopefully a good result, but we'll have to see how it goes. Have the other weather plays a part as well.
Well, good luck. Lucas Sullivan of Oxford Brooks D. Andrew Howard, Endurance 2 is about to get underway.
Indeed it is, mate. Let's take it nice and quick as we go straight into rolling up. Swansea A start this one from pole position. Brooks A are alongside Loughborough B and Cambridge A make up row 2. Row 3 is going to be Birmingham C and Loughborough A. Row 4, Aston A and De Montfort A. Rounding out your top 10 on row 5 is Hertfordshire A and Coventry D. Uni of Life, ineligible for points, starts from 11th with UWTSD A alongside Coventry B and Exeter B make up row 7. Row 8 is Huddersfield A and Huddersfield B. Row 9 are Warwick B and Manchester A. Oxford and Birmingham B round out your top 20 on row 10. Then row 11 is going to be Brooks D with Queen Mary A alongside. Newcastle B and Newcastle A make up row 12. Row 13 is Southampton A and Nottingham Trent B. Brighton B and Coventry A are on row 14. Row 15 is Manchester Metropolitan A and University of West of England A. De Montfort B and Kingston A make up your 16th row of the grid. Your 17th row of the grid is Nottingham Trent C and Leeds B. And your 18th row, rounding out your 36 carts, are Bournemouth A in, I believe, their first ever BUKC endurance race, because I think they sat out race 1, and Bath A, as the wind, Andrew, is really picking up here. And yes, there was an attempt from the Mother Nature at snow in the midst of those interviews. It's kind of not being able to reach the ground by the wind. It's sort of sideways, really.
The sideways snow.
The sideways snow.
This will be the last race of the day for a number of teams. Let's try and pick out some examples. Loughborough A and B, this their last race of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go around again, it looks like it.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we
Not
are.
everyone's formed up.
Manchester A, this is their last race of the day. Oxford BUKC A, this is their last race of the day. And endurance is always a little bit tricky to call because there's only 2 races for each team.
Yeah, so we're going to get to the final race. You're going to want to run through the who's still in the hunt, and the answer will be like
about
a third.
15 teams still competing for a round win.
That's okay. That keeps it interesting, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, Swansea A lead this one from pole. It's Alex Rees and Ryan Edwards at the wheel of this one throughout the next 55 minutes. And remember, it is 55 minutes. All of these have been shortened from 60 minutes to 55, just to ensure that we get the days running in by the time we are supposed to do so. Kyle Morby and Piers Packard Walsh doing this one for BUKC A. Kyle Morby made it sound a bit too easy in his interview. Somehow they're always in contention for a win, and yet by his own admission, he doesn't really think about things. Which, you know. But yeah, what the weather's going to do is going to be an interesting one over the course of this one. It's trying to put down some form of snow/rain at the moment, but it's just not sticking. But anyway, we're good for the get-go here. Alex Rees, we believe, at the wheel of this Swansea A car. David Whitehouse in the pace car pulls to one side, and away we go for round 2, race 2. It's a good start from Kyle Morby in second place as the number 74 of Trent B goes for a major excursion there and very narrowly avoids the barrier there. But at the front, it is BUKC A ahead of Cambridge A, because Sam Cobb has got immediately up to second place there. Tom Thickpenny, Andrew, as well, up into third place in the Loughborough A car. Good start for the well-known regular teams here.
Chaos coming off the bridge. Someone gone for a full up the banking there onto the, and Lucas Sullivan's involved as well for one of the Oxford BUKC carts, apologies. And it's all bottlenecking into the hairpin as well, but just about everybody else has survived. I think Lucas Sullivan is in trouble. I think his race may be done already, as there's another incident down at hairpin number 2.
Yeah, and yeah, that is Lucas Sullivan. It's the 26 who spun round at hairpin 2.
That's had impact on the front left-hand corner of that Club 100 cart, and it's been recovered off circuit now.
So it's Manchester A who spun at hairpin 2, but they're now underway again. Manchester Metropolitan, by the way, had to take so much avoiding action to avoid whatever it was that happened to BUKC C. I think they may have gone down Grantham High Street, but I'll get that confirmed. As they cross the line to finish lap 1, it is BUKC A in the lead with Loughborough A in second. The classical rivalry in BUKC is joined at the front then between the two historically most successful teams, but there are yellows out from turn 3 through to beyond the bridge here, as there's 4 penalty places already issued to Oxford.
Change for the lead, Tom Thickpenny, or almost going for the lead, down the inside of Kyle Morby. Will he get the run off the corner? Yes, he will. And Sam Cobb's going to get involved as well for Cambridge A. Beautiful switchback by Cobb to take second place. Sam Lovelace is on the scene as well. Sam Lovelace for De Montfort A, and Kyle Morby's being bullied down the field here, and just about is going to hold on to third place ahead of Sam Lovelace there for De Montfort. Loughborough B are involved as well, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 early on here.
I think it's Charlie Bennett, and the BUKC C car, Andrew, is moving again. I can see Lucas Sullivan coming down the back straight, but I think that is from the point of view of recovery, not from rejoining the race.
That's an interesting one, because I've got a swarm that front left was had it.
I mean, he's not steering, so we can't see the front left as it currently stands. But here we go then, through 1 and 2 comes the battle at the front, and now Sam Cobb for Cambridge goes for the move into 3, and Kyle Morby's going to try and follow through as well. Nicely judged by Sam Cobb, up into the lead for Cambridge, and it worked for Kyle Morby too. So now it's Cambridge A, BUKC A in second, and Loughborough A down to third, but with pressure as well from De Montfort behind, and Loughborough B there for support, and the number 6 car in 5th.
Harry Farnhill, don't count him out the early stages, there in 6th place for Trinity A. A very strong driver over the years, good to see him back here. Sam Lovelace has a little look at Tom Thickpenny for 3rd place. Sam Cobb checks over his shoulder. He's been in this position before, many times before, mainly for the Warwick A team, who've not had a good day or afternoon so far.
And in the background, look out for Swansea A attacking their city sister university. Good battle going on between Trinity A and Swansea A at the moment. Who's at the wheel of the 36 Swansea effort? I'll get back to you on that one actually. As they come round to start a new lap. Sam Lovelace side by side with Tom Thickpenny over 3rd place. He's going to have the advantage into 1, but Thickpenny might try and hold his own into into turn 2 and into 3, and they're still side by side, Andrew, here. This is incredible stuff between these two, and the Loughborough B car comes out on top out of that exchange, which is neither of them.
That was not in the plan, and Morby has a little look. Cobb almost goes half defensive. Oh, was there a little bit of contact there? Under braking. Cobb just about held on to it, but Morby's looking very racy here, wants to get on with things. 4 minutes and 20 seconds gone in this race so far, so we're not quite at pit stop time yet.
Hang on, Manchester Met have just got a very obscure penalty, so I'm going to dive into the rule book here.
Whilst you do that, let's continue this. There's somebody off down at hairpin 2. We'll try and capture who that is at the moment, but Sam Cobb defending very hard here from Carl Morby. It is the number 24 cart that's off at hairpin 2. There they are. So that's them going to be falling all the way. It's Newcastle A. Newcastle A falling down the order then from what was 15th place. Back with the leaders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 Loughborough carts, the Montfort cart, Oxford Brooks A and Cambridge A. Brilliant mix of teams. Cobb still holding out ahead of Morby here. Then the 2 Loughborough carts. Some would say in the wrong order. And Sam Lovelace, we mentioned earlier, he's got a good amount of experience round this PF International circuit. Here comes Morby again. Good run off the Lichfield Bridge. Can he get up the inside? Can he get it done under braking? Yes, he can. Cobb will try and fight back though as they go into hairpin 2. Morby will have the inside line this time for hairpin 2. Will he force him out wide? Yeah, just about. And Bennett's getting involved as well for Loughborough B there. Loughborough B going for 2nd place into the high-speed S's, and he does so. Great move there from the driver of the number 6, but Sam Lovelace is now going to nip underneath at least Tom Thickpenny and Sam Cobb. Brilliant stuff from Sam Lovelace for De Montfort A. Ever the opportunist, and takes 3rd place. Bennett's now fighting with Morby. Bennett's going for the lead. Brilliant! Oh, brilliant stuff there from Loughborough B, and it's all changed again then. So Loughborough B now lead from Brooks A, from De Montfort A, from Loughborough A, Cambridge A. What a disaster of a lap that was for Sam Cobb. He went from 1st to 5th, Howard.
Really, really impressive exchange there between all these drivers, giving a good racing room, and they're still nose to tail, aren't they? Could change any which way as Oxford gets another penalty. This one is for OTY.
Lovelace having a half look down the inside there of Morby. Still Charlie Bennett leading this one. I'd say still, he's only been leading it for half a lap. Pits are now open for the first of the 2 mandatory fuel stops for these teams.
I don't want to take away from the good racing action with a nerdy question.
Go on.
In this era, what is the only form of time penalty you can be given?
Oh.
Not the reason, just what the penalty actually is.
10 seconds.
No. So the only form of, well, technically it's a distance penalty. It's a lap.
Right.
As in, that's not positions, it is just a clean lap taken off.
You do the lap, yes.
That's what Manchester Metropolitan A have managed to get themselves deducted, because they have omitted part of the circuit.
Ah!
Now, I can't think that was for them taking the avoiding action on lap 1. That would be incredibly harsh. And I don't think they gained any advantage by going up the banking, unless they still wanted to check out that dog we featured earlier on. But I wonder if they went through at hairpin 1 and didn't slow down sufficiently. That would be the most obvious way of omitting part of the circuit. but they are going to lose a lap no matter where they finish on this one. Our Manchester Metropolitan, the number 44.
That's not great for them. Just to see, were they in race 1? No, they weren't. So plenty of time for them to fight back. Here is Charlie Bennett, still ahead of Kyle Morby, ahead of Sam Lovelace, ahead of Tom Thickpenny, ahead of Sam Cobb. Sam Cobb just started to be dropped a little bit now by this quartet as they sweep round the final corner onto the pit straight, past us at start finish. And surprisingly, Thickpenny being dropped as well. Now that is something I don't say often. Tom Thickpenny of Loughborough A, unless he can find something in this next couple of laps, is being dropped here by these three. Nine minutes into... Now what's on our clock? Back up to an hour, so we may be back up to 60-minute racing now. We'll confirm that in due course, but that's what our timing is telling us at the moment.
It is what our timing is telling us at the moment, I will grant you that.
This pit stop window will run to 25 minutes through the race.
So your early stopper from near the front has been Swansea A. You, just for reference, managed to do a 1 minute 40.3.
It is quite interesting, I find this, Howard. Normally when we commentate on these endurance races, we talk about... Oh, his Morby runs a little bit wide now, just about hooked it up. We talk about teams going for the early stop.
Yes.
You've got 2 mandatory stops. You start with a brimmed tank. You do 5 minutes, you pitch straight in, because then it's a relatively short turn of the Bowser handle to get you back up to top, and away you go. Nobody seems to be doing it today, and I just wonder, is it an unfamiliarity kind of thing, in that the teams aren't quite sure how this track races in endurance racing, so that they're taking the other way that you can do it, which is to run long.
So I think there are a couple of things. I think the first thing to be said is that in this era of the BUKC, as we were seeing a little bit this morning, because of the licence system and the way that we feel that...
and just to say that, I think Sam Lovelace just pitted.
Yeah, okay, so they come in. I'm just going to note that Trent C have got 2 positions to be deducted at the end of the race. In this era, the carts are closer together.
Yep.
Therefore, it is more predictable that if you pit early, you will end up in traffic.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Before, it was like, well, we're all spread out. You can't judge it.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit more of a given. The second thing I'll throw in, maybe less of a factor, but it's possible that with the race format being changed from 60 to 55 for race 1, the teams just wanted to play it a bit safer.
Yep.
If there was any uncertainty about exactly how the pit timings were working there, that's something that I have seen happen in the past. The classic example was a couple of years ago, as there's a change there between, that is for the lead, isn't it? Because Brooks A's Carl Morby is now ahead of Charlie Bennett. But yes, a couple of years ago when we were at Warden Law, there was mass confusion when I won't go into
pits.
He does indeed.
For Brooks A, so 1 lap after De Montfort pitted.
Yep.
Let's see where they come out here, because De Montfort A have come out of their pit stop in 10th place and in traffic though.
And let's see what the time is like as well, Andrew, because earlier on Brooks' pit stops were immense. So we get a Loughborough 1-2 for the time being, but obviously that's not fully representative.
And Tom Thickpenny's just done the fastest lap of the race so far, 1 minute 10.342. Where Oxford Brooks A going to come out here? Apologies, we've lost our pit camera. There is the number 1 of Coventry A. There is Sam Lovelace. Where is the Oxford Brooks A cart? This is quite a slow stop for Oxford Brooks A, unless they've slipped out of the pit lane and I've not noticed. Where have Brooks A gone?
So De Montfort's stop was decent.
There they are.
1:34.
That's not a good stop.
Brooks now. Let's see how it went, and it was really poor. It was a 1 minute 53 0.6. So they have lost some 20 seconds in that stop, Andrew. Big drama for BUKC there.
And I'm guessing that it's that they got held up in the pits by someone already being in there. But if that is the case, that is very unlike BUKC. That is very, very unlike BUKC. Normally, they get that call absolutely spot on, but something happened there. Apologies, we couldn't see it up in comms, but the result is, what do we reckon, about a 20-second gap between De Montfort A and BUKC?
Yeah, as I say, they lost 20 seconds in that stop easily. So they'll be well down the order there. We're back to the battle between Coventry A and De Montfort A. But bearing in mind that Coventry have done a stop. So Coventry are in this battle.
Oh, okay. So
I missed that one, I have to say, in the early proceedings.
So they really have crept in under the radar there, but put themselves in a very nice position.
And they nailed the pit stop, Andrew. It was a 1:28, which is on a par with what we were seeing BUKC doing in that previous race. And that means that they gained 8 seconds on the kart that they now battle out there. They gained, because De Montfort's was a 1:36. So that is what a good pit stop can do for you. It can bring you back into the race. Big penalty.
Big penalty this. Loughborough B, the race leader, multiple track limits. That's going to be 2 positions at the end of the race. And what is the response to that? I do wonder. I know it's still very early, but we've already seen it with the Loughborough teams. They've done a couple of switches today. Do you swap these 2 carts? Because the B cart's got more pace.
No, you swap the carts now, and Loughborough B holds up your competitors.
Yeah,
is what you do.
Or pushes the A cart along if it's a little bit.
Okay, so there's an argument.
The
there's an argument to wait until the point where you get represent. Wait for the first pit window to close, and then see where things sit, and then do the switch. You could argue for that. So at the moment, if you use the Loughborough B cart as a pace setter, and then move the Loughborough A cart forward, and bear in mind they can't exactly communicate rocket science to their drivers out there anyway, because they don't have a pit to cart radio. So they could wait for a little bit, see how things shake out after the first round of pit stops, and then do the swap. But ultimately, you want to use Loughborough B if you know that it cannot win. You want to accentuate your chances of winning, and Loughborough A are indeed in, so we're going to keep an eye on what the stop time is for them now. Out comes the number 92 from their stop. That's Bournemouth A, having completed their first ever BUKC racing pit stop.
Big, that's really big. Tom Thickpenny has got out ahead of Sam Spinale, but Sam Spinale has the speed, is trying to find his way through. They've gone under the bridge. I think they're side by side. They are side by side. Sam Spinale up the inside of Tom Thickpenny's got through. Oh, now that is a very, very key move, and Lovelace has got through as well. Lovelace has got through past Tom Thickpenny. They were decisive moves there by Sam Spinale and Sam Lovelace. They recognised the situation. They had more speed because, of course, they're coming out of the final corner at full racing speed. Tom Thickpenny is coming relatively slowly down pit lane and then accelerating out of pit lane. And Sam Spinale, Howard, had to make that move, and he did so very cleanly.
But this is the thing, I don't think anyone's really clocked Coventry because of the way that their top stop brought them back into brought them into contention for this one. Tom Thickpenny wasn't really thinking about that one, to be perfectly honest. It was just about getting the car out onto circuit. They did do a decent stop for what it's worth, of 1 minute 31. Very good stop from Loughborough by the standards of what we've been seeing. But critically, Coventry are in this one in a big way, and it's courtesy of a fantastic first stop.
Oxford are in. They were the top clubman runner. We'll see how they get on and where they feed out. Penalty for Leeds B, which is a multiple track limits 2 positions. Birmingham B having a decent race at this point. I've just spotted they've moved up to 12th. And a penalty for Trinity A as well for multiple track limits, so that's 2 positions for them. They're currently in 3rd place as well, so it's a fairly big one for
That's
Harry
really
Farnell.
big, actually, because they were running in 6th place before the first round of stops, so they were in good contention.
The number 92 there, just ahead. Bit of traffic for Sam Spinell to deal with. He'll cut to driver's right, get up the inside. Sam Lovelace follows. So there's proper good scrap this now between Sam Spinell and Sam Lovelace. The number 92, of course, being debutants Bournemouth A.
I just want to draw attention to this, not because I want to have a go at Bournemouth at all. It's their first time doing this, but I just want to draw the attention as Cambridge emerged from the pit lane. That is Sam Cobb. He stayed in the car at the wheel of the Cambridge kart, and it's a 1 minute 30.8. So it was a good stop from them, and it's put him just behind Loughborough A there.
Very respectful driving as well. You could argue there was almost a semi-right for Cobb once he was out of the hashings to cut across there and try and block Thick Penny into turn 1, but he didn't do so. So this is kind of the big picture now. Trinity A and Loughborough B have not stopped yet. This is your effective battle for the lead of the race. Still got 6 minutes of this pit window to go.
I want to mention someone else who's brought themselves into contention as well by having a cracking first stop. We mentioned that the stop from Coventry A brought them into contention with a 1 minute 28. Another team who had a 1 minute 28, Huddersfield A. Currently sat in 7th with Stephen Letts at the wheel. Here he is, in fact. They had a cracking first stop as well to keep themselves in contention for this one. So that's one to pay attention to, as there's a track limit warning there for Bournemouth A, and there's a battle going on between Coventry A and De Montfort here. Sam Lovelace on the tail of Sam Spinell, and this is effectively your battle for the lead, because we're still waiting for Trinity to make their first stop in this race, and even if they hadn't, they have a penalty to be applied. So this, come what may, is your net battle over the lead of this race between Sam Lovelace in the De Montfort A kart, and ahead of him Sam Spinell for Coventry University. Bit of traffic ahead. Bit of an adjustment there from Spinell, just making sure he's comfy. But you get a break on the straights, bizarrely. For those of you who maybe haven't done much racing, you get a nice break on the straights to check things like your gloves and stuff, which sounds ridiculous as you're driving at speed, but it's much better than doing it in a corner, as round is the 26. And that is not the first time we've seen them rotated around in this race, I don't think. Because the 26 is Manchester A, and they had a spin on the first lap. They were the less dramatic thing to happen on the first lap, with BUKC having their drama up on the Lichfield Bridge, as the new fastest lap of the race is set by Sam Spinell, trying to respond and get break the toe of Sam Lovelace for the net lead of this one. Tom Thickpenny there running in a net third position, albeit fourth for now, as they both go past kart number 103, which is Nottingham Trent C, who I'm sorry to say have now in the last 5 or 10 minutes accrued another track limit penalty, so they need to try and keep it within the limits of the circuit a bit more.
We've got a public service announcement on the BUKC 2020 group. This is a penalty for Brighton being multiple track limits from the King Nicky. We're doing a fuel stop. Stop the cart, so the fuel tank is opposite the fuel bowser, which makes it a lot easier for the refueler to fill up the cart. So many of you are stopping short and having to drag the cart forward as the refueler can't reach the fuel tank, costing you guys a chunk of time. Definitely a little bit of case of maybe not race rust, but
it's
race
these
engineering.
It's these little things, isn't it? It's a big deal. That you know, there's Loughborough B, by the way, now coming back into the fall. They were our race leaders before this first round of pit stops. So if you want to see how things transpire through the pit stops, the number 6 kart there is a net fourth at the moment, running behind Loughborough A on the road. So Loughborough still with a good, strong showing. And of course, we talked about whether or not Loughborough pull the shift, because Loughborough, the switch between their two teams, because Loughborough B have a penalty. It's happened naturally, as far as I'm aware. I haven't seen any switch go on. So now they are the correct way around, and Loughborough B's job right now is to hold up Sam Cobb in that Cambridge kart as much as you possibly can.
Huddersfield A are coming back into this as well.
Yeah, that, as I say, they were the other team, as well as Coventry A, who had an amazing pit stop to start. It was a 1 minute 28, and indeed Stephen Letts is on the scene now, just behind Sam Cobb 7th place on the road. I still don't think we've seen a stop from UWTSDA, as there's a penalty for Loughborough A, and that's big. That means that Loughborough are not going to win this one, because now both of the Loughborough karts have positions to be demoted at the end of this race.
Trinity
so that's
in.
big news for them.
Trinity A are in, so the race is basically reset now. 23 minutes and 15 seconds gone. Coventry A are your leaders by 0.6 of a second over to Montfort A. Loughborough A and B 3rd, 4th, but they both have penalties. Cambridge A 5th, Huddersfield A now. Of course, I'm confusing myself because I thought Stephen, let's start from the front of the grid. No, that was a sprint race. They started from the midfield in this one. So they've had a very nice opening half hour or so to this race. Got themselves right in it. Remember, it's Alex Gunn who will be taking over from Stephen Letts later in the race.
And what this means, Andrew, with the Loughborough penalties, by the way, is that Coventry and De Montfort A effectively have two little buffer races between themselves and Sam Cobb in the Cambridge A kart, so it kind of gives them a bit more free agency to battle it away as an extremely strong gust of wind hits our comms box.
I don't like it
at
when
the start
it does
gantry. It does rattle quite a bit, doesn't it? It is a really nice comms box that we've got here at Paul Fletcher International, but it ain't half noisy when the wind comes through, as there's a fastest lap of the race from Huddersfield A, and here's Stephen Letts is going to go down the inside of Sam Cobb to develop on that fastest lap. He's going to try and take the position, and he's got the job done. He's got into 5th place, as there's a Club 100 tester there just to keep you awake, as there's a black flag for Warwick B for a crash helmet, which means their crash helmet isn't done up properly, or their visor's off. Usually that's said as visor though, so I think they just need to do up their helmet, and that's a really clumsy way to get a black flag, I have to say.
That's very silly.
But yeah,
Coventry A then. I mean, this is when it gets into a very interesting part of the race in terms of the psychologies of it, because Sam Spinell or Sam Lovelace, I think you want to work together at this stage.
Yeah, you do. When I say free agency to battle, you still want to bide your time for now. Indeed, you should, broadly speaking, try to not hold each other up and see how the next pit stop goes. As Stephen Letts picks his way through some of the traffic, and there's another penalty for Brighton B. That is not their first one. Now they're going to have 4 positions to do with that one. Sorry, if it seems like we're talking a lot about penalties, more so we make sure we make a note of them, because when it's all is said and done at the end of the hour, we want to know when we get the final drivers across the line what is representative. So we've just got a little bit calm amongst this battle at the moment, apart of course from the battle for the lead, which is just up the road from where we're looking. In fact, you can just see them coming out of hairpin 2 there in your shot, because it's still Sam Spinell. There they are, Sam Spinell versus Sam Lovelace of Coventry and De Montfort A respectively, and they are now actually battling over the lead, because UWTSDA did make their stop a couple of laps ago. And how did they get on? It was a 1 minute 35, not the best we've seen. They've lost maybe 7 or 8 seconds in that exchange, but they will have had to do a slightly longer fueling segment as a result of pitting later. So that'll be something to bear in mind. Here we go though, onto a new lap. These two battling away. Andrew has his arm aloft, which means... What, sir?
2 points of information.
Okay.
Clubman's, Queen Mary currently on timing your leaders, but I don't think they're eligible for this race.
I don't think they are either.
Also, I've just had a note from Mr. James Fitchie from Alpha Live. Do give Alpha Live a subscribe on YouTube, and a like on Facebook, and a follow on Twitter if you haven't already. Light rain, possibly snow, starting to fall.
Okay. Well, finally. I mean, I've been waiting all day to say it. Well, we had a little attempt at snow in the break between races 1 and 2 of this round earlier on. It tried, but it was the wind was blowing so hard that it sort of never landed. If you're in Claypole up the road, you've apparently been having snow for a while, and it's ending in 26 minutes, I'm happy to tell you. But here we've been waiting to see all this snow that we've been promised. But it is definitely very windy and very nippy out there at the moment. And a little bit of frustration there, I think, from Sam Spinell to say, hello, I'm number 1 coming through here. And is that going to give... Yeah, they're just working together for now, aren't they, Andrew? There's no point Sam Lovelace throwing one down the inside, but there's still the battle raging and closing up nicely behind them between Loughborough's A, B and Huddersfield A, as there's a penalty for Leeds B.
And the driver at the back of that battle is why these two need to work together, because Stephen Letts is coming like a steam train. He's just set another new fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 9.8.
Yeah.
That is
the fastest.
That's a stonkingly fast lap there from Letts.
Fastest I think we've seen today, mate.
Yep. And he's got past one of the Loughborough carts. I think it's Charlie Bennett he's got past. So Huddersfield A on the road now up to 4th place, with the Loughborough A cart and 1 back marker between them and the leaders.
Absolutely, this is really top stuff. And yeah, a quick mention for the clubman class actually. Huddersfield B, if we're correct about Queen Mary, are your current clubman's leaders in 15th place overall. Interesting for me, Andrew, how the Premier subclass teams have risen to the fore a bit more in these endurance races. That's not just the length of the race, that's also things such as Loughborough having to, Tom Thickpenny is having to has really got the attentions of Stephen Letts here. And Letts is going to try down the inside of 4 going onto the Lichfield Bridge, and he's got the job done. So Stephen Letts is now released from the Loughborough, the penalised laden Loughborough duo, who now start battling out between the two of them, because Charlie Bennett wanted to have a look up the inside of Tom Thickpenny there. Interestingly, I mean, in some ways, well, no, not in some ways actually, he's still on for good points, even with the penalties that they have to be applied. But Stephen Letts, either way, is unleashed here and can have a go at trying to catch up to Sam Lovelace in second.
BUKC, I've talked about them in a while, currently in 10th place. That time that they lost during the pit stops really is costing them now. 25 seconds off the lead. They may have a chance of finishing this race as clubhouse leaders. Remember, for half the teams in this race, thereabouts, this is their final race of the day.
Indeed, in fact it should be, usually it would be exactly half.
Yep.
The way that the grid programme works it all out. We are pretty much at the halfway stage though, so I just want to give a quick little rundown of how things stand. Obviously Coventry A and De Montfort A are your first and second runners, and we've just been talking about Huddersfield A, the man in your shot now with the green and orange race suit, with now in 3rd place and trying to close down the gap to the leaders. He's got 3 seconds to close down in that. Tom Thickpenny's trying to stay with him in the Loughborough A cart in 4th, but has got a penalty to be applied at the end of the race, a 4-place penalty incidentally for an ABC. That is, he actually hasn't fallen foul of track limits as many who have been issued with the penalty have. Loughborough B's right with him, they have been hit with a track limit penalty. Cambridge A are some 3.5 seconds down the road, with Sam Cobb still at the wheel, I want to say, for that effort. Exeter B are the next down the road, but they're 11 seconds off the back of Cambridge. Then the first 3 seconds back from them is Coventry B in 8th. Brooks A recovering from that disastrous first pit stop, whatever transpired there, are a further 2.5 seconds down the road in 9th. They've just got by University of Wales Trinity St David A, who did a very late stop and have also got a penalty to be applied. That rounds out your top 10. I will just go a little further because Newcastle B are 4.5 seconds down on there in 11th. They've got Queen Mary for close company, but we think Queen Mary may be ineligible for points. 3 seconds behind them is Swansea A, who have Aston A for close company. And the reason I pushed on beyond 10th place, 2 seconds down on them, is what the cart we believe are highest in our clubman subclass, the number 29 of Huddersfield B, running in 15th.
Just looking through some of the teams that are in their final race. Actually, Huddersfield A could very well be the clubhouse leader. If the race was to finish right now, they'd have a 6th and a 3rd. That would be enough for 113 points out of a possible 120. Not bad, not a bad score. Don't think it'll be enough to win the round. Have at least one team gets 2 top 4s. That's still a long way in this one to go. Stephen Letts closing in. The gap is now 3 seconds between him and Coventry and Sam Spinell front of the field.
All of a sudden, Sam Cobb's having quite a quiet one, mate. He's suddenly sort of by himself there. in sixth place.
I mean, it's understandable because he's done a lot of these races, but he does sometimes have these in the endurance races where he just calmly goes around, puts the pace in, and gets the results out. Because Cambridge are one of the teams, this is their final race. They got a 17th in race.
Yeah, it was a super strong showing for them in race 1.
I do want to give a shout out to the Swansea team though, Swansea A. They are a Prem team. It's the first time in a while we've been able to say that. And at the moment, up in 13th place now, which becomes 12th once you take the 61 Queen Mary kart out of things. Doing all right on the lead lap. In fact, generally, how many teams have we got still on the lead lap? 2040. That for me, Howard, that's a measure of where this championship has changed.
Yeah, I can agree.
I think if you go back 4 or 5 years, over half an hour into an endurance race, 24 karts being on the lead lap, that would have been unheard of.
I agree. It shows, and there's several things coming to play with that.
Battling
there's the
Loughborough
Rotativa.
karts.
It is the battling of Loughborough karts, although they do it slightly sheepishly. It's like, shall we battle all these side by side? But here goes Charlie Bennett down the inside of Tom Thickpenny. We just had, though, quite a major penalty come in the sense that, although they did already have a disastrous first pit stop, but BUKC have been given a 4th-place penalty for advantage by contact, so that is them not able to win this race. After that,
and potentially not able to win the round.
That is what I'm thinking may be the case, as this battle for the lead of the race continues to rage, merely tenths apart, albeit I think they're biding their time at the moment. De Montfort A keeping their powder dry. Who's going to jump in to replace Mr. Lovelace? It's going to be Johnny Knight towards the end.
Not a slow driver at all. And Coventry A. De Montfort, this is their last race.
Yes.
Coventry A will be in race number 3. Have a top 10 grid slot, so I think it's more key for De Montfort at the moment that they probably need to win the race more than Coventry do.
Meanwhile, battle resumed for the Loughborough karts somewhat, although they are trying to get by one of the back markers there, who duly gets out of the way, either by accident or by design. Let's call it by design and say that was very good driving there from the Newcastle driver to let them both through. By the way, I've definitely done it where I've gone wide and told myself. That was me driving courteously, that was. I knew they were there. So I can relate if that is the case.
Pit window is now open again
It is.
for drivers. The number 31 I can tell you is in. That's one of the Bath karts. It's Bath A kart.
It is the Bath A kart.
And is that the 56 that's followed it in as well? Imperial?
I think it is, yeah. And look at this. Huddersfield are losing time at the fuel bowser, Andrew. That is Stephen Letts in the number 8 kart, and that is a disaster for them, as Sam Cobb pulls in the Cambridge kart as well, we just saw on the right of shot as well, and they're held up as well. This is poor strategy, to my mind, Andrew, from both Cambridge A and Huddersfield A, and this is essentially just throwing away the race.
It's the 55. Oh, the 55 did get fuel in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think the 31 was having a very, very slow stop there. Yeah, that's
to me, that's...
It's one thing I didn't check this morning of what the pit calling round here is like.
It's true. True.
It could well be that it is a very hard circuit to call on.
It could well
still,
be.
because you've got a gantry near last corner that can cancel a pit lane move if needed. But no, that is quite strange that Huddersfield and Cambridge, two very experienced teams, have got caught out so badly by that. And this really does open the goal now for Coventry and De Montfort.
Totally. If you get a team like... I mean, Huddersfield had a really good stop. They've just ruined it in many ways. As I'm not sure what exchange that was between Manchester Met and Coventry. That was a 1:43 stop for Cambridge. A 1:43. So they've lost 15 seconds easily on the optimum pit time there. Let's be a bit fairer. Let's say because it's the second stop, it will be a little longer at 1 minute. Let's say 1 minute 30 represents a good stop now. So they've lost, 12, 13 seconds there.
Interesting situation coming up here. Coventry A and De Montfort A, the leaders, catching the De Montfort B kart that is a lap, or about to go a lap down. It's Gabriela Martinez de Luca at the wheel of that one. Will the De Montfort teammates try and help each other here?
You'd hope so. Good team strategy. And they've pitted it. Do you know what? That's also a smart move.
Yeah.
If you can't, if you want to guarantee that it won't be held up, now's a good time to pull in the pits. As the interesting exchange just happened in hairpin 2 outside the window. It is. It's Loughborough in for their pit stop. Then Max Reed will get in. Remember, these guys can't win the race, but they can definitely be a factor on circuit.
Now that's the moment there. That's where
the team can help. Yeah.
I know it sounds crackers because these karts have. Oh, is the 32's off? Now where is that? That's the chicane. That's at the high-speed S's, just after the hairpins. They've got going again.
There's Birmingham B.
Birmingham B in
32.
But yeah, that second and a half. I mean, we've already seen in this race and in race 1 just how close the margins are.
Yeah.
If you've got your driver in the seat,
yeah,
and you're almost giving like a bit of a bump start, as you would with the TKM, you've got the kart moving. It's travelling ground before the Rotax engine comes back in.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why in top-level motorsport you're not allowed to push the car, even though they're high-performance cars and the person pushing it seems immaterial. It's because it does make a difference.
Yep.
They did a 1:31, did Loughborough, which isn't terrible by the standards that we've seen, but could have shaved maybe, half a second off that if you'd have been getting away with a bit of oomph. And it does just guarantee the engine start as well. It still helps to have the engine go around. That can all be part of it.
Your driver can have brain fade as well with that button. I've had it where in the midst of battle you forget which way's up.
Yes.
I think we've all done that with these new Rotax karts. And I just find it intriguing that it doesn't seem, because it became rife in the Club 100 Endurance Series around Lid last year, to the point that we actually questioned it.
Yes.
We questioned it. We questioned, is that legal? And the answer was, yeah. It's like, well, right, we're going to do it as well, because clearly there's an advantage to be gained from it as the two leaders work their way past some traffic.
And I think as well, Loughborough A, it doesn't entirely matter because they still owe us a stop, but Loughborough last time they came out the pits got pipped just as they came out the pits. They did just get pipped again by BUKC on that outlap.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters, as I say, because a stop is owed. But we're still here with the lead battle between Coventry A, your reigning champions, of course, and De Montfort A.
So it's like is this a Loughborough pit stop? Yes,
it is. Loughborough B.
Pit stop.
So Charlie Bennett will give way to Giulio Peroni.
Joe Fowler down there as well, so Coventry must be getting ready for a pit stop.
Is it raining, Andrew?
I think it's definitely trying, but I think again, as we've had all day really, the wind is careful. That was a bit of a swerve there from Loughborough B, nearly collecting another driver there, which ironically was their own 18. Okay, that's not really what teammates want to be doing there, but I think it's trying, but the wind is so fierce. It just it's almost like it's drying the track itself.
It's like we've created a lovely little boundary layer above the track today that's just preventing the weather from permeating through, no matter what it throws. There is Birmingham B underway again, the number 32. We saw them have a spin earlier on.
Curb warning for the ineligible Queen Mary A kart. They won't be ineligible in the next race, so they will have some chances to score points. There goes the battle for 4th place. And yes, there we go. There is confirmation that this kart is ineligible because I've just seen an Adam Sears in it. So the Edge Hill driver mentioned earlier. Inters are here tomorrow. We unfortunately won't be here, but we will be covering all that happens in not just today's racing, but the Inters as well on the DDMM podcast, which you can find on www.mixcloud.com/Double Dash Motorsport Media. Rain is coming. It's hit again.
It is starting. We can actually visibly see the droplets are big enough for us to see it coming down on circuit now. So is this going to stay with us for long enough to have an effect on grip? We did have a little bit of rain affected running in race 5 of round 1 this morning?
No,
race
it was
4?
earlier than that. I think it was 3.
Okay, yeah, I can get on board with that. I do want to
Coventry
say as
stop.
well, here they are then, leaders in. Sam Spinell gets out. How's this going to be? The fuel's going in now. They're not held up by anyone, which is the first thing to check with these things.
Yeah, but again, they were a little bit short of the Bowser there.
Yeah, it's not perfect,
and
is it?
We're losing time again, and there's a problem. Where is there a problem there? Is it
Joe
the lead?
Fowler can't get it started.
What is happening here
He
for
can't
Coventry?
get
This
started.
is costing them the race victory.
This is it. This is how you lose an
Let's
endurance
go in
race.
now.
Well, that was that just now, Andrew. In order to get these started, you do need to press and hold them for a period to allow it to crank. Will they maybe frantically? I'd have thought they're familiar with doing that now, since they wouldn't flick it. But you can sometimes get the driver just sort of cycling the power switch in the heat of battle.
We're going to go
let's
down
get
to
an
the
interview.
pit lane. Sam Spinell is down with our very own Jacob Harris.
So here with Sam Spinell. Sam, you came from right at the back to right at the front. Not the best of pit stops though.
Yeah, we messed up our second pit stop, but we started 28 and came up to first. And with number 16, we were working together, so it's a good stint.
Well, that's who you're racing. Has Joe got the pace to hold him off?
Joe's very quick in the rain, so I think if our pit stop wasn't too bad, we can still win this race. So.
Andrew, Howard, back up to you guys.
I think this is de Montfort's to lose, because I suppose they didn't lose too much time. Well, they did. Coventry A's lap time was a 1:42, so they've lost 12 seconds in that stop. So I now think this is de Montfort's to lose, because Exeter B are running in second. They also stop, as far as I'm aware, unless they've really pulled a fast one on all of us, because I haven't been clocking them as a main contender in this one. Loughborough's A and B, yeah, okay, they could catch up and get past, but they've got a penalty to be applied, and actually they're miles off now with all the pit stops that have gone on.
37th
Huddersfield A had a bad second stop, as the 37 is in, and that is the team of... Why did I say that as if I knew the answer? Exeter B, that is Exeter B coming in for their stop. Sorry, folks, we are still trying to learn the new numbers. Obviously, new season, new numbers to get used to.
I see that suit as well, because it's the same one Pascal Poot wears.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, it's Southampton.
Yeah.
No, it's not Southampton.
Do you know, I was thinking Southampton exactly the same as you, but I think this is de Montfort's to lose now.
Yeah.
In the number 16. They've just played it well. They've not got penalties yet, and that's the key thing. Do not get a penalty, because that's it. Any kind of penalty. I also want to say that we're just shy of a third of the field currently running, carrying some form of penalty.
54 in trouble. Was that going into one? That's coming into the last part of the course, Birmingham C.
It is Birmingham C. But yeah, around a third of the field that you see running now are carrying some form of penalty to be applied towards the end of the race. I'm not saying that because I'm telling off everybody. I'm saying it because it's just something to bear in mind that a third of this field are not finishing where they think they're finishing.
Lap times.
And that is that is indicative of part of the problem.
Please obey the track limits, drivers.
I even appreciate the fact that the please was in brackets, because they're not obliged to say please, I'll say that much. As there's a track limits warning for Newcastle A.
Yes. There they go, across the line. Lap times have dipped. If you're looking at live.alphatime.co.uk/BUKC, you'll have seen lap times have dipped. Unless your name is Joe Fowler. He's just taken 2 seconds out of de Montfort A's Sam Lovelace on that last lap. 1 minute 12.372 that time around for de Montfort. So the gap was down to 27.5. We're waiting to see where is Joe Fowler on this particular lap. What is he doing? Aston A have just got a multiple track limits penalty there.
That's not their first.
Sam Faulkner coming past us there. That's number 35 coming out the pit lane. Here's Joe Fowler. What is his pace like? Because the rain might have already stopped, you know. It's, wow, 1 minute 10.7, another 1.6 seconds. So, yes, they had the bad pit stop, but they are already pulling this back.
Well, I said it was de Montfort's to lose, but that doesn't mean they can't lose it. It's just currently the ball is in their court, but Coventry, it looks like, are going to give it their all to try and pull this one back again.
Lights starting to go down
Yeah,
here
I was gonna
at PFI.
Challenging conditions, Andrew. Challenging conditions, sorry, Andrew, for anybody who is not wearing a tinted visor out there, to be perfectly honest.
Did we mention Newcastle have got a penalty? And De Montfort are in. Leader is in the pit lane. I can see on some of our internal cameras. So how is this pit stop going to be? It's going to be Johnny Knight, I believe, getting in. It is. It's a very good stint from Sam Lovelace for 48 minutes. There it is in your little inset camera. It's neater, but I still think those pit stops could be quicker.
I don't know if they're trying to be like slow to be fast kind of thing with this and just keeping everything
Here it is,
calm.
and Coventry have got them. Coventry have got them. What a comeback that was from Joe Fowler. Those few laps, he's just put in a 1 minute 11.041. He's a second quicker than at least everybody else out there on circuit. And well, we said back in April in 2019 that the championship winning team was like the phoenix rising from the ashes. Coventry had a rough couple of years until 2019. It's not a championship, but they've done something similar here in this race, a disastrous pit stop where they lost some 10 to 12 seconds, but somehow they've still emerged out in the lead of this race thanks to some brilliant driving from Joe Fowler in that very short rain shower.
Absolutely brilliant play by Coventry A and Joe Fowler. However, it is not all over yet. Let's see what the pace is of Johnny Knight as he gets up to speed, but he needs to be on that pace immediately.
Got to say, actually, De Montfort's pit stop wasn't good. It was a 1 minute 40.
It was a 1 minute 40.
They lost a good amount of time over where they really should be there.
So that's where they lost it, really.
Yeah.
That's where they lost it. I mean, fair play to Coventry, setting decent pace, of course, but it is really on the stop that De Montfort just lost that. So when we say it was theirs to lose, well, well, don't say it's over. It's not over till it's over, but they kind of just lost it on the stops. And in fact, that means, Andrew, that nobody at the front has really had a perfect run of it in this one.
Not really, no. You've got two teams out front who had bad second pit stops. Third and fourth, the Loughborough Carts with penalties. Fifth place, Huddersfield A. They had a bad stop. Sixth place, Brooks A. Well, they've got penalties. I think the highest running cart that hasn't had any form of issue, correct me if I'm wrong, Howard, it's probably Cambridge A and Sam Cobb in 7th.
I wanted to say that. Yeah, I think Cambridge A are the cart to give that little award to. I'm going to see how their pit stops. No, because their second stop was a 1 minute 43. No, because we saw them getting held up in the pit lane when Huddersfield A were in.
Yes.
So I don't think it is Cambridge.
Absolutely right.
I want to say it's Coventry B.
You're absolutely right, Howard. We've had a tweet on Twitter at Double Dash MM, use the hashtag BUKC 2020 from the Loughborough boys. We don't condone this. This is a little bit harsh, but I can see where they're coming from. New BUKC rule idea. Every driver has an electric tag on them. If all four wheels go over the white lines, they get an electric shock. Problem solved. I don't think
extreme.
I don't think that one's going to get through rules. It's
extreme.
But I can see where you're going there, Loughborough guys.
Yes. Birmingham B have been added, I'm afraid, to the list of penalty-ridden teams.
Hello to James Johnson. He corrects me. Actually, yeah, sorry. It was race 5 that there was rain during. Apologies. That was a big moment there for, was that the 103 Trent C cart? I think it was.
Yeah, it may well have been.
That nearly took out De Montfort A there.
Yeah, having a tough time with it are Trent C, but one of our teams running further down and perhaps learning their craft when it comes to these endurance races.
Penalty for Leeds B for, you guessed it, multiple track limits.
Third infringement of that, so they'll be demoted 6 positions come the end of this race. But yeah, I think your first team to have a clean run of Coventry B, their first pit stop was a 1 minute 29, and their second pit stop, so Coventry B have, bear with me, Mr. George Bridson and Pavlo Denisenko.
What a hero.
So there you go. But they 1 minute 29 their first stop, and a 1 minute 32 their second stop. Those are two perfectly decent stops for 1 and 2. So well done, Coventry. You are, there's a good job. The only thing I can say is that they had a slow-ish well, the first lap is always difficult to judge times, but that strikes me as a slightly slowish first lap.
You know,
Maybe they got caught up with something, but
in that first lap incident.
it's an interesting one. But I think, and it's interesting, you know, Jacob had that interview with George just before the race. I think that George Bridson is doing and this is not me talking about anything about the internal decisions of who goes where within the commentary squad, but I will just say that George Bridson is still having a cracking season so far. He really is having a good one.
And that's a potential nice story for them there for the 25 in this particular race, because you've got a driver in there who we mentioned earlier, Pavlo Denisenko, who less than 12 months ago, yes, I know he has experience from other things.
Yes.
But was racing in the rookie series.
Yeah.
He hadn't been able to get his licence. Got through the rookie series, got his licence, and here he is now.
Yeah.
Potentially about to get a top 10 finish in a very, very strong field in this race.
Yep. I think it's still just spitting a little bit
It's
out
trying.
there. It's trying, but it's certainly not enough to be affecting lap times at the moment. Albeit we have sort of moved towards a 1 minute 10, 1 minute 11 sort of time. The battle over who could set a 1:09, as that is a penalty. Ooh. That was a penalty for our former top runners in the Clubman subclass there, in the form of Huddersfield B. Although they're not in that position anymore, not because of the penalty, but because the highest clubman on the road at the moment is Oxford. At the moment, running in 13th.
Around for them at the moment.
But I wonder if they owed us a stop, and actually I wonder if they've just pulled into the pits actually.
Well, they've got 1 more minute.
No, they have not. They have pitted. Sorry, they have not. They have not just pulled into the pit lane. They have already done so, and it was a terrible second stop. I'm afraid to say. It was a 1 minute 55.
Loughborough into team battle. Both carts with penalties, although I think they're of differing amounts.
Sorry, which team?
Loughborough B. Is the B team
Yeah,
4 place?
Loughborough A was 4 places for an ABC.
Yeah.
And Loughborough B was track limits. So
Oh, right. Don't swap these then.
Yeah.
Do not swap these, as just to say that the Loughborough B carts... Oh, come on. No, that's the wrong decision. That is the wrong
Well, I
decision.
think
The A team needs to be ahead of the B team because they negate one of the 4 positions by ending ahead of their own team.
Well, I agree with you. I don't think that was a decision. I don't think they're operating on that. I think they're just sort of... I'm concerned that they've just taken a sort of caution to the wind. You know, we've sort of both had penalties. We're sort of not going to win it. Let's just have a battle out there.
Yeah.
I worry that that's...
Well, we did see earlier in the last race, first and second, both did not know.
Yeah, exactly.
That they were fighting for the win.
Yes.
But it is a lot harder. I do give them that without the radios. Again, we found this in our own endurance racing, that you get the radio set up, which is quite expensive, and it does make a huge difference. And I'm not aware of any of the university teams running one of those. I should say it is quite costly.
Yeah, I don't believe they're prohibited from doing so.
Maybe in the sprint races, because sprint in club.
In sprint, yes. In sprint,
are
yes.
prohibited.
But
let's see if Loughborough switch their carts back. No, they're going to keep the number 2 behind the number 6. Because what I'm meaning by this is, and we had some races like this last year, the penalties are applied from the front.
Yeah.
So if the race finishes as it is, the Loughborough B cart will get its 2-place deduction first. So it'll initially fall to 5th. It will have the Loughborough A cart jump ahead of it. It'll have the Huddersfield A cart jump ahead of it. Then the next one will be the Loughborough A cart, which will go 1, 2, 3, 4, and the net drop for the Loughborough B cart will be 1.
Yeah.
Because they will be one of the teams within that range of 4 drops for the A cart.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I can't quite understand why they've made that swap, because you swap it back again, yeah, the B team's going to drop 2 places, but the A team, the team that we know long-term is more likely to be in the championship fight, only drops 3.
They've just put a lap on a team I'd like to give a quick mention to in the form of UEA. They've had a good run in this race of Felix Connolly and the much applauded this morning by us, Matthew Graham, in that car. I think Matthew Graham is bringing it to the finish. They're going to finish 17th overall, the second highest of the eligible clubman runners in this one. So it's been a decent run for them as well. So this is all good stuff. We've got 2.5 minutes to go of this one, and leading this race is Joe Fowler in the Coventry A kart, the reigning champions from the 2019 BUKC season. And were you saying this morning that there was some people who suggested that they weren't in the chase for this championship?
Their own driver out on circuit now said they weren't confident that they were going to be a factor. I don't think it was
that is
genuine.
No, I don't think.
Okay, psychological deflecting attention things.
That's good. I was going to say that is a deflecting tactic worthy of Christian Horner there. To be perfectly honest with you all, as Hertfordshire A gets a penalty.
What do you mean by that statement?
Sorry, I should cover myself there, shouldn't I? I mean that sometimes Formula One teams say that they're further back than they really are to make it seem better if they do well, or lull their competition into a false sense of security. Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with that.
And I merely picked him out of the air of a Formula One team principal I could think of. Let's say that.
90 seconds to go, or 80 seconds now. There's Joe Fowler leading this race. Sam Faulkner with the number 28 Oxford kart. They're looking pretty good for another strong clubman run.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're waiting. Where is our number 6? Oh, there's our number 16 in the blue, the red helmet, Johnny Knight. This will still be a very good result for De Montfort. May still give them the clubhouse lead. We'll leave them on 107.
I want to talk about battle as we're heading towards the end, mate. Do you remember when I
change
said
for fifth. Sorry, mate. BUKC have just got past Huddersfield O. Unless that was what you were about to talk about.
It wasn't, actually. I was going to talk about something slightly further down, which is, we said, I don't think Exeter B are in this one unless they've pulled a really fast one on us. Ha, 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 ha. They actually have had a really good run here. They've just taken 8th place off of Coventry B, which was the team that we said was the first of those we felt had a genuinely clean run with nothing going wrong. So I think of the successful no pit stop mess up sort of thing, Exeter B have just sort of taken, they had a dodgy second stop, to be honest, a 1:42, but either way they've just taken 8th place.
Floodlights are on, so anyone at the circuit listening to the commentary, the clear visors rule now comes into play.
And I have to say, Andrew, that's a particularly awkward time for it to come into effect in many ways, because yes, the floodlights are on and yes, them's are the rules, but you and I are having to wear sunglasses at the moment because of the sun in our eyes. The low sun means, so absolutely right.
To be honest, it'll be gone in the next 10 minutes.
It will be gone,
minutes.
it's absolutely true, but I just say at this precise moment in time, it's an ironic time for it to come in. I don't think I've ever worn sunglasses with floodlights on at a kart circuit before. Anyway, this has been a superb run for this man here, Joe Fowler, and of course Sam Spinale. This will be Sam's first win for Coventry
I think you might be right there.
in the BUKC. Highly successful driver during his time at Hertfordshire University, but it is now with Coventry that he seeks to make his success. Well, what sort of gauntlet is this throwing down for the round 2 victory? What sort of gauntlet is this throwing down for the championship this year? Joe Fowler is going to come across the line to take the win for Coventry A. He pulled it back from a non-too spectacular second stop. It's going to be, we wait for De Montfort to cross the line as they just have done so. Brilliant, brilliant drive, it has to be said, from Sam Lovelace and Johnny Knight. But even their second stop wasn't particularly spectacular. Here comes the Loughborough effort. Loughborough B finish ahead of A, which does unfortunately mean that the net hit for penalties is going to be greater for them. Only by a position, but you know, we've
all
seen
counts.
things, all counts. Brooks A finished in 5th place, recovering from a particularly bad second stop for them. Huddersfield A crossed the line in 6th, Cambridge A in 7th, and then at the last lap, Coventry B have got past Exeter B again for 8th place. So good drive there by George Bridson and by Pavlo
Denisenko.
Thank you. Apologies, Pablo. I will get my brain around that one eventually. Exeter B in 9th and University of Wales Trinity St David A finish in 10th.
Good result
drive for Swansea.
Very good result
Very
for
good.
Swansea there in P11 on the lead lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Newcastle B finish in 12th. Oxford come across the line as your highest placed runner in the Clubman subclass in 13th place. Bear in mind, to take the win in Clubmans, because everyone's scored together, it's not just really whether or not you won within Clubmans, it's where did you finish overall that will count to determining that kind of silverware come the end of this round. But still, good run for them. Aston A in 14th, but I think we saw some penalties. Southampton A in 15th. University of West of England A, decent run for them. Second highest placed Clubmans out there. Queen Mary A not eligible in 17th. Coventry D finished 18th on the road and 3rd in Clubmans of the eligible runners in theory, but I'm sure we saw several penalties awarded is not the right word, Howard, attributed to them. Nottingham Trent B in 19th, and 20th were Manchester Metropolitan A, but they will be dropped a lap for cutting out a part of the circuit early on in the race. Let's hand down to Jacob.
And there we have a second victory of the day for Joe Fowler and a victory for Coventry in that one. They're about to jump on the scales, or at least Joe is. Sam is probably holding around the back over in the pits. We'll grab Joe for a quick word, as we've already spoken to Sam. Provided everything's all right. Looks as if it is. Joe. I know, speaking to you again, you're the first double winner of BUKC 2020, if we don't count the qualifiers, which we don't because it's after Christmas. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tough race for you?
Not really. Sam did it all.
Bit of pressure from De Montfort towards the end.
I didn't know who was who. I just went for out and then saw on the screen that I was first on the last lap, so.
Well done. Here's Mr. Spinell himself. Joe says it was all you.
Nah, Joe did the job. We messed up our pit stop and yeah, he caught up. He's quickest on track as well, so he beat me. But yeah.
Not too bad. And your first win of the day. Is this your first win back for Coventry?
Yeah, first one. No, I won in qualifiers.
Of course, yes. Apologies for forgetting that. But how is the new team treating you, Sam?
Yeah, I was nervous coming in, obviously. No, they're a great team. It's a good atmosphere as well. It's like a family.
And how are you looking on retaining that number one plate?
Joe doesn't believe in me, but I'll prove him wrong, yeah?
28 to first, he'll like run it himself.
I said, we'll do 28 to first, and he'd like, yeah, no, there's this person, this person, this person. We did it. But yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah, Joe, Buckmore, I expect you to have a lot more faith in his ability.
I always had faith in him.
All right.
We're missing George Bridson this year, so.
Of course, and Neil. Let's not forget Neil. Congratulations, guys. Well done on your victory. I'll let you get off and enjoy the rest of your day. Coventry A, the winners of Endurance Race 2. In behind them, we have got Huddersfield and De Montfort. Apologies, I was like 16 on the top of my head. Who wants to go first? Who's in a hurry? It's Johnny, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, Johnny, second place in that race. How does second place feel?
I think it was brilliant. I think probably the best endurance race result we've got. So, but credit to Sam, like full credit to Sam. Definitely, yeah.
Sam seems to do well when I interview him. I find him midway through the pack and say, how's it going? You're all right. And as in the sprint race earlier, and today, just storms his way to the front.
And did you interview him before this?
I'd made a point of it.
Oh, meant you? You're a lucky charm.
I have to go find him at Buckmore.
Every race you interview him, interview all of us actually.
That didn't work for Mark.
No, let's not talk about Mark. Okay? Yeah, apart from that, it's good. Yeah, no, we're all really happy to be honest. Like just to be up there with the big boys, sort of fighting through the endurance race is really good for us. So yeah, superb.
Yeah, De Montfort's still a relatively new team to BUKC, but going from strength to strength each year.
Definitely, yeah. We're really happy with how it's going. So let's keep going up, see if we can get a top step and stuff.
Cheers, Johnny. And last but not least, our third place finisher, Alex Gunn. Alex, I spoke to Stephen before the race, I think, and
I'm not happy with what he said actually about him carrying the team, but we've had words. So
it's been 3 years and his back's hurting.
Yeah, well, mine's aching a bit too, but.
So who did the carrying in this race?
Steve definitely did. He had a good start. He got knocked around a bit, but then to be honest, the pit stops went really well today. We seem to have quite smooth pit stops. Rejoined, had no idea where I am, just sort of drove it to the end, and then third's all right. So yeah, happy with that.
You guys had a decent qualifiers and you've not been too bad today. Can we expect to see Huddersfield make a total challenge again?
Hopefully, yeah. Apart from the incident today in the sprint races, which wasn't really... Yeah, it's neither here or there. But yeah, we've shown strong form and strong pace. We're hoping to go for it this year. We're sitting well in the championship, so that's what counts at the end of the day. So yeah.
And obviously you're reigning 24-hour champions. It's very hard to do both. Are you up for the challenge?
We'll give it a go. We never went into the 24-hour expecting to win, really, so you never know what happens. We'll just keep plugging away and seeing how we get on. So yeah.
Alex, cheers for sticking around after the race. Speak to us. I'll see you later. Alex Gunn there of Huddersfield A, who are doing quite well this year. They're an up and down type team. They'll turn up to one round and then the next round, not so much. Speaking of, it's the end of round 2. This is the last endurance race of the day. There's no more streaming after this. And it's our last race at PFI. What a fantastic day we've had so far. I'm going to talk to James Bierme. James, the commentators have actually had a little bit of a kind of discussion about how to pronounce your surname. Would you like to set the record straight?
It is Bierme. I can't.
Bierme. Wow.
Yes.
It's posh then.
Well, it's a bit foreign, but yeah.
Okay, whereabouts are we talking?
Netherlands origin, and maybe a bit of French somewhere as well, I think. I can't exactly remember that.
Well, I hope Andrew and Howard are listening. Bierme, please, Andrew and Howard. Starting at the front row of this one, what can you produce from here?
I'm kind of just hoping to see how it goes, really. I mean, I'm quite heavy myself, about 90 kg, so I'm kind of at a disadvantage anyways, but, you know, I kind of found a good footing here anyways, so let's see how it goes. Unfortunately, the previous round 1 didn't go that well. I think I was a bit over-aggressive, but oh well. Can we convert it to something here?
You calm yourself down, and it's an endurance, not a sprint.
I understand.
So go well in this one.
Thank you very much. Good to speak to you.
James Bierme there, everybody. Let's shuffle further back down the grid, see who we find in this one. I have a quick chat with Corey, actually. Corey, bit of bad luck earlier in the sprint. What can you do for us in the endurance?
Well, just going to see what I can do. I know I haven't got a pace to be here, but see if I can defend off as much as I can.
You've got the spirit to be here, I believe.
Well, yeah, I just don't want to get binned off again. But, yeah, see if they behave themselves this time.
Yeah, I mean, you are starting behind Jack O'Toole.
I don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is. Oh, well, I'll let you find out in the race.
Right, great. He looks a bit of a heavyweight, so...
He is a bit. You've got reigning champions Huddersfield behind you as well, Captain Ryan Williams. Does that worry you at all?
Well, hopefully he'll push me through. That's what I'm hoping for.
All right, then. All the best of that. I shall speak to you later. Corey there of UWE hasn't had the easiest of days. Stephen Howes we spoke to earlier. Let's try and find someone who we've yet to feature on the stream. Hadn't had much from Warwick today. They've had a fairly anonymous afternoon. So let's jump in with them if we can. Just looking to them here. Archie we spoke to earlier, but I'm going to speak to you again. Archie, it's been a fairly quiet day on the Warwick front. What's happened?
I've been a bit unlucky with incidents and stuff, to be honest. Quite a few inexperienced drivers, quite a few people who haven't driven PF before. So it's not been the day we've been looking for, but hopefully we can get a good result in this one.
Finish with a flourish now?
That's the plan. So,
I'd think it. Warwick traditionally bring cake to BUKC. Is there any cake knocking around?
Not at the minute, no. Final year's been tricky. So
I'm absolutely starving.
I need to get my baking gloves out. Start making cakes again.
Bacon, did you say?
Baking gloves.
Baking gloves. I thought you said I need to get my... Anything I'll do. Honestly, at this point, I'm withering away.
Oh, fair dues. I'll have to do a Sainsbury's shop then, won't I?
Sort us out at Buckmore, all right?
You sure?
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
I'll speak to you later.
Yeah,
have a good race. Archie Hobson there of Warwick. We did catch up with him in the end, and it did come out that I only want to speak to them because of the cake. Let's go right to the back. Hopefully we won't lose. We got one of our newer teams here. Who have we got here?
It's Top Rack.
From?
York A.
York A. York are on my list for teams that we haven't spoken to today. How's it going?
It's been a bit disastrous, but you know,
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
What's been disastrous?
The weather, I think our button fell off here. That's been some black flags, but, you know, with the spirit's still here.
Can you turn it around with a fantastic finish in this race?
Yes.
That's what I like to hear. Wait, what position are we starting here?
At 29th.
Can you win from 29th?
We'll see.
Who you partnered up with in this race?
My partner Elliot will partner me.
Between me and you, is he any good?
He's all right.
He looks like he knows his stuff.
Yeah, he's decent. He's decent.
Well, we shall see. We'll keep an eye on your progress. And hopefully I'll speak to you later.
Thank you, man.
University of York there. The teammates have been asked to clear the grid. We are about to get going. Let's squeeze in one last interview. I will jump in here with Max O'Shaughnessy. Excuse me, Exeter team. Max, I haven't had a chance to speak to you yet, but decent sprint race earlier. Can you keep it clean in this one?
I mean, I think the 4 penalties were unjust, but it is for track limits. I wasn't doing it on purpose, but hopefully this time, you know, I'll try and keep it on the road. It is usually the faster way around the track after all.
It does tend to be. If you keep it within the white lines, you won't lose any places after the race.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Got a couple of good drivers in this one, in particular former super heavyweight, or just heavyweight champion Henry Jackson just in front of you. Do you reckon you can follow him through the pack, or do you reckon you should get in front of him?
I don't know. I'll see where I am after the first lap, and then really that's when you need to start thinking about how you want to drive.
Any tactical plans for this race? Are you going to jump in and jump back out yourself, or are you switching up?
That's telling.
Max O'Shaughnessy there of Exeter A. Henry Jackson's got a bit of a problem. His car's not starting, so we won't jump in and grab a quick word with him. We'll hand back to the commentators for the last time today. Andrew and Howard, talk us through endurance number 3.
Thanks, Jacob, for talking to the drivers throughout the day, including Mr. James Bumey. We're still going to do the crazy guy reference, though, which possibly nobody gets. Anyway, coming out onto circuit, let's take you really quickly through the grid, because I think Mr. Mather would like to give you the most, perhaps his most vague ever round standings update. Bath A start this one from pole, Bournemouth A on their debut mains championship entry. Oh, God. Someone just spun off coming out the pit lane onto the grass. That was interesting. That was the number 17. I'll let you know where they are. Bath A and Bournemouth A are your front row. Leeds B and Nottingham Trent C are on second. Sorry, that really I had no idea what I just witnessed. Look at this. Coming out the pit lane, trying to warm some stuff up. Here we go. Here we go. Away.
Well, someone's above it, aren't they?
And someone else has done it at the back as well as that as well. That's fascinating. Anyway, Leeds B and Nottingham Trent C are your row 2. Row 3 are Kingston A and De Montfort B. Then is UE A and Manchester Met A on row 4. Row 5 rounding up the top 10. Coventry A and Brighton B. Nottingham Trent B and Southampton A are row 6. Row 7 is an all Newcastle affair, A and B. Queen Mary A and Oxford Brookes D make up row 8. Row 9 is going to be Birmingham B and Oxford. Cambridge B and UWTSD B round out your top 20. Sheffield A and Warwick A are row 11. Row 12 is Warwick C and Bath B. Birmingham A and Imperial A are row 13. Row 14 is Brighton A and Nottingham A. York A and Exeter A round out the top 30. Then it's Loughborough D and Loughborough C on row 16. Row 17 is Brooks B and Brooks C. Nottingham Trent A, your pirouetters of the day there onto the grass, are starting 35th, and 36th is Leeds A to round out the 36 kart grid. As we are good for the start, James Bumey will lead them away for Bath A. Bournemouth alongside though with Rory Hudson at the wheel, and it's a good start for Rory Hudson, and he's straight up into the lead. There's a lot of loading and a cone has been sent absolutely flying there in amongst the field, and that's because there's a contact as well, and that is a scruffy start. Full start called, and do you know what? That one had started getting messy before they even reached the apex of turn 1. A great start from Rory Hudson for Bournemouth, but James Bumey just had to sort of be quite robust and get his elbows out, but it just all transpired from there, really.
Rip Colin. That's all I'm going to say on that one. In a way, though, it's opportune because we can run through who's doing what. So let's start with the simple one, which is Clubman's. Warwick B are your clubhouse leaders in Clubman's on 85. The teams that can win and beat that, how about every single Clubman team that's in this race? Because 85 is not actually that good a score. Sorry, Warwick. So we'll keep track of Clubman as we go along. Huddersfield A are your overall clubhouse leaders on 113. So after all the penalties from the last race, of which there were a lot, Huddersfield A finished third, so they've got 113 points. There's 76 teams that can beat that. Leeds A, if they finish second. Nottingham A, if they can score 160 points, they've got a bit of leeway. Birmingham A, they could win the round. They've got a max possible 118. Exeter A could win the round. They've got a max possible 119. Brooks B could mathematically win the round with a 120, as could Coventry A. Now, the best positioned of all of those drivers, all of those teams, sorry, is Coventry A in 9th place. All the others that are read out are kind of similar to how we had in round 1. Towards the back of the grid, this could be quite intriguing to see how those teams come through, and can Coventry A convert this good grid position into a round win?
Absolutely, plenty of questions to be answered over the next hour, 55 minutes. We'll see what the clock says when we get this one underway. They're not happy at all. They're not happy at all. And to be honest, yeah, that was scruffy again. James Bume away. It's been called a full start. I have to say, the anti-pole side clearly felt that they were held up there by the pace cars.
I'm not
going to say that was the case necessarily, but there was a clear gesture from Bournemouth there that they weren't too happy with something there.
Yeah, Tom Dent was caught out by that as well in the Leeds car. I think I've not seen this since probably Houghton Park 2 seasons ago, where I think there's and again, it may be because we've got some teams towards the back end of the grid that need to come through for their round stories, as it were. But there's a lot of loading coming from the back, and that's not good. So hopefully we'll get going on attempt number 3. We are already down to 55 minutes. There may be a bit more time knocked off after that one.
Yeah. By the way, I don't just want to shame Trent A for bidding it onto the grass out the pits. So I want to say that Brooks C did exactly the same thing. I just want that to be known. I'm not saying I've never done silly things coming out the pit lane. At Landau once, I just face planted the floor, pushing a cart. I didn't, not in the cart, that would be impressive, but I just pushed the cart back when you pushed them, and no one had told me to put one hand on the rear bumper, one hand on the seat. I just put both on the rear bumper and then just face planted the floor. Well, we all started somewhere, mate. It was the first year then.
I've got a vision of you head desking in a Club 100 car. And that's just that.
I did
the Mario theme.
I did the most impressive stop, drop, and roll you've ever seen for someone not on fire.
Right.
Let's try again, shall we? Third time's the charm. James Bume will come around to lead them away, and again, you can see already they're unhappy about the loading. And we're going to wait and see how this one goes. They're keeping it nice and calm right up until the last here. And away we go. Can they keep it clean through 1 and 2? It is 55 minutes on the clock. Again, a good start from Rory Hudson. He repeats what happened on the first start of this race. But again, we're through the grass. It's scruffy again as there's more cross countries. That Max shows Shaughnessy I saw going across the grass there. Penalty for Bournemouth A, who went straight to the lead. Is that a jump start penalty? Surely that's the only thing they can have got by this point. Yes, it is. So two positions for them. And it's still a bit scruffy as it's Rory Hudson who leads this one, but he's going to be frustrated if he's still at the lead at the end of this one. As out of control there, I would say, somewhat went... gosh, who was it who I just saw? Was it Manchester Met who seemed to be squirreling around under braking there? But Rory Hudson leads them through.
Hooray, hooray. Corey Richards has got round at least the first half of lap 1 in the UEA kart unscathed.
Congratulations to him.
It's good to see. The unluckiest driver in the BUKC for now is doing all right in that number 55 kart as the rest of them file through. Let's count them through at the end of lap 1. So Bournemouth, we already know, have a penalty for that jump start.
They're about to see, by the way, so look out for any reaction from them. Alongside them, though, is Nottingham Trent C, who are going for the lead of the race. Well, I mean, that's a turn up for the Bucks because they've not. Where did they finish
as well? I was just about to check. I thought it was going to be one of those fourth. They start fourth on the grid.
Where did they finish their last race?
33rd.
Okay. Interesting.
Sorry.
No, go them. This is lovely stuff. Number 103, Edward McDade, is in the lead of the race for Nottingham Trent C, and fair play to that man. James Bume in third there, starting to put pressure on Rory Hudson. And then behind them is De Montfort B with Christian Bessel at the wheel.
Going to look towards the bottom of the order to see who...
And drama in hairpin 2. Birmingham A has been collected, but they've kept going, and it was contact with Oxford. The 28 and the 4 involved, and one cart has come stationary. And is that UEA? I think that is. UEA, number 55, were involved there as well. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I just saw the end of it.
So Corey's look lasted exactly 1 1/3 lap in his second appearance out today.
Oh dear. As the battle for the lead. Brilliant stuff here from Nottingham Trent C. Fair play to them. They're here very much on merit. As no one quite wants to make a move behind them.
I was about to say that I was going to look towards the bottom of the order to see the clubman who's moved through, because of course Birmingham are one of those teams that stand half a chance, well actually more than half a chance of taking the club and win, but they've got to get themselves up the order and have a decent finish. I'd imagine somewhere around in the top 12. And that's not the way they want to be doing it.
No, they've fallen to 25th place.
Now if I'm them, I'd pull that cart in as early as possible.
Yeah, just go for it.
Traffic.
Yeah.
Get it out of traffic and get it into clean air, because you're going to lose time now in the middle of this pack. See, Max O'Shaughnessy is still trying to fight his way through. We're still looking at the leaders here. This is second place. Nottingham. In fact, no, that is a change to the lead. So Bournemouth A have got back into the lead. Nottingham Trent C's brave defence is over. Didn't quite catch what happened there.
And it means that your net leader, taking penalties into account, is James Bume in that number 31 Bath A cart. Because Rory Hudson has that jump start penalty to be applied. Look at Coventry though, already up to 5th place here. Good start for the number 1 with Ryan Williams at the wheel. We will see the combination of himself and Tom Fox in this race, and neither of those drivers are particularly leaving people wanting in the pace department.
I'd go long if I'm them. I think I'd go long. There's track position. Keep it out there, keep as long as possible. New penalty for Bournemouth A.
ABC.
It's an ABC. Oh, so it was an ABC on the leader then. It's got to be. It's the only cart that they've overtaken out on circuit. So Bournemouth A's driver wants to be careful, because we could see a black flag coming pretty quickly, because that's 2 fairly big no-nos already spotted by race control. It's kind of ruined their race already, because that's 6 positions. They finished 27th in race number 2. That was the... sorry, Howard. The penalties thing. Some teams should kind of be praised for not getting the penalties, because they were rewarded as a result. I saw certain teams, I think, in fact, Warwick B, clubhouse leader in Clubman, were one of them, and gained about 8 positions from other teams getting penalties from where they finished on the road.
Yeah, the last race saw the highest number of penalties of any race so far today, it has to be said.
Henry Jackson on the move for Nottingham A, just saw him cutting out of the slipstream momentarily there. He's into the top 10 now for Nottingham A. It's been a bit of a strange day for Nottingham A. We'd normally talk about them being the kings of consistency. Hasn't really been the case for them today. You just see Rayan Williams in the background as well. Now 4th place for Coventry A.
In fact, if anything, I just feel like it's generally been quite a variable day.
Yeah.
And I think that's borne out by quite how many teams are in contention for this round victory.
Brooks B haven't had a good start. They're currently down in 29th. That's not where I'd expect them to be. That's not good for them. They're one of the teams that mathematically can beat clubhouse leaders Huddersfield, who are currently sat on 113.
It's the lesser experienced pairing from that team, with Aidan Lee and Angus Fender in the seat for them over the course of this 55-minute race. So we'll see how they get on. But if I remember the sprint earlier on, I think Aidan Lee started quite far down for them in the sprint race this morning as well.
Yeah.
And his was a slow but steady build up through the order, which saw him in the end come good on that. So
should start seeing pit stops now. The pit stop window, first one of this race
Queen
is
Mary,
open.
Queen Mary are definitely in for their stop. as are Nottingham A, I think, mate.
Yeah, interesting call that. I can see why they've done it, because they were in a little bit of traffic. And we should keep a hold of this, because this is what, of course, Coventry did in the last race. And it wasn't really until about 20 minutes into the race that we realised that they'd done a very nice job. As up the inside of the Montford B goes Rayan Williams. So Coventry A up into third.
Indeed, and that came courtesy partially of them setting the fastest lap of the race, the first lap below a 1:11 in this race on that last time round, a 1:10.727. Still James Bume chasing Rory Hudson then over this lead on the road, but this Bournemouth kart now is just trying to mitigate the penalties as much as they can, because there's 6 positions that they're going to be docked by the end of this race. So it's just a case of how high can they finish. They will not be classified as the winners. James Bume, Andrew, experienced driver for Bath A, been a part of Bath's building up. We've been talking a lot about how Bath are they're building up to a really nice period for them. Yeah, coming good on their form. And I feel like James Bume is a part of that for definite, because he's been a very good force in the team.
Definitely. I mean, we saw James winning qualifiers races last season.
Yeah.
I remember him having a really good scrap with our own James Johnston, who'll be back.
He
for
will.
Buckmore.
He will.
If you hadn't heard that piece of news already. Back in the comms box. He's filling in for me, isn't he?
He is indeed.
Yes.
He is indeed. We're going to have to do. We're going to do a spreadsheet of doom crash course.
Yes.
In the interim.
But no, it's and James has been a forefront of this effort as well from the Bath team. Of course, they won the Inters Championship with the B team last year. They got promoted up into mains this year. The A team itself, third at qualifiers.
I have to say they are working really well together at the front here. Talk about consistency of pace. It's a 1:11.024 for Bournemouth. It's a 1:11.070 for Bath A.
You know, the
so
13th
good
this
working.
morning.
Sorry?
13th this morning
Yes.
in the round.
Yes.
Okay, maybe you'd want to be a little bit higher, but 13th overall shows that what happened at qualifiers was not a fluke, and they properly deserve to be a Prem team this year.
Pitters, Birmingham A have pitted, which to me says yes, they went for the early stop, but not risking getting crowded out at the Bowsers on the first go. So that's good from them. As Nottingham A have a penalty for overtaking under yellows.
Oops.
Which is going to dock them 4 places.
Yeah.
So bear that one in mind, everybody.
Rayan Williams getting very close to the back of the Bath A kart now.
That's pretty impressive, actually, from Nottingham, because I don't think we've had many yellows. Anyway, as James Bume has a serious look here. Is there going to be room? Not quite. Look at Coventry A, though, right on the scene with them now. As they stay as they were through turn 3. And no, they don't stay, because there's a look from Coventry A on Bath A there. He's going to get the switchback, heading down towards the hairpin, and surely this is the opportunity that Rayan Williams needed to take the second place, and it's done by the time they're hitting the braking zone. Nice move by Rayan Williams, just judged the switchback off of the bridge, the Lichfield Bridge exit corner nicely, and managed to work his way up into second place there. And that, of course, is your net lead of the race, with Bournemouth first on the road, but to be dot positions come the end of this one.
Nottingham Trent C still holding very nicely there in 4th place, and really does show how they've developed and blossomed as well. A lot of strong drivers in the Trent squads this year.
Yeah.
It's not going to be their A team's finest hour this afternoon in round 2. They already have a podium overall from this morning in round 1. B team won in Clubman. B team has a chance of winning in Clubman again, actually. We'll keep an eye on those. Do keep your tweets coming in at Double Dash MM on Twitter. Use the hashtag BUKC2020. And we should already really start looking forward to Bookmore Park.
Oh, we should. It is the next round.
Should be in a few weeks' time.
It will be.
We'll be there again with the Alpha live stream and commentary from Double Dash Motorsport Media. For all the latest info, do make sure if you're on Facebook that you have liked the page.
Absolutely.
At Double Dash Motorsport Media and at Alpha Live Productions.
As Ryan Williams now is all over the back of Rory Hudson for the lead of this one. He won't know necessarily that there is a penalty due for Bournemouth, so he'll just be looking to get the pass in.
New fastest lap from Ryan Williams, a 1 minute 10.549.
Yep, absolutely. Let's just note at this stage that those who are at the forefront of this field before the first round of pit stops for them, Bournemouth A, Bath A, Coventry A, Trent C, Trent B, Newcastle B and Southampton are the ones I've made a note of to keep an eye on as they go through the stops. Ryan Williams eyes up a position here and he goes down the inside of hairpin 1 on Rory Hudson. Hudson's going to try and switch back on him and he's going to have the outside line though for hairpin 2 because Ryan Williams is able to position himself nicely there as they put a lap in on the number 21 of Leeds B. So change for lead on the road. Ryan Williams and Coventry A get themselves to the head of the field and of course in so doing put themselves in the pound seats to take the round victory, having already won their first race of the day. So the question is now going to be, can they control it? Can they get the pit stops right as darkness falls over PFI? What a first visit it has been to Paul Fletcher International. Provided some thoroughly enjoyable racing here, and we know from talking to the drivers, seeing some of their feedback online as well, this is established itself already as a driver's favourite. We've got plenty of drivers' favourites coming up with this season. We head to Bookmore Park next, which is a lot of drivers' favourite circuit. We'll then be heading to Glanny Gors in Wales, which is also quite well known as a driver's favourite. And in fact, basically we're going to my favourite and then your favourite for the next few rounds. That's the point. Each of us sort of commentating our favourite track in a way, and then we'll do the finals over in Dorset at Clay Pigeon, which is the circuit that alongside Wilton Mill traditionally sort of swaps the finals holding each year. I'm a big fan of Clay as well.
Yep, me too.
I have to say. So it really is a cracking calendar. It is a penalty for Nottingham Trent A. So they will drop 2 positions at the end of this one. It's for track limits, I'm afraid. It's got a bit old now, hasn't it? Rory Hudson clearly not too happy on that last lap. He felt like he got... I feel like Rory's going to be a bit frustrated after this one. Things just haven't quite gone his way. He had a great first start to the race, but that one didn't count. And the subsequent 2 ones didn't go so well. He's now got 6 positions worth of penalty hanging over him. And there was a contact warning, which I think was issued for contact with the back of Ryan Williams' kart on the previous lap, which is... his gesticulation suggests he felt wasn't entirely his fault. But no harm came to either driver's race effort, as they're now going to put a lap, and I'm somewhat surprised to be saying this, but they're going to be putting a lap on the Birmingham A kart here.
Yeah. But they have stopped Birmingham A.
Yes, they have stopped. As in pit stopped.
Yeah.
Yes.
And had a half spin.
And had a half spin, absolutely. That is on the apex of hairpin 1. The number 39 has come to some drama.
Newcastle B?
Yes, it is Newcastle.
Oh, red flag.
Oh, red flag.
It was at least come up on my time screen.
Yeah, no, I've got that too, mate. Not seeing anything immediately that's obvious for that. Oh, that's gone away as
Restart,
quickly as it
timing
came.
glitch.
Timing glitch. Okay.
Timing glitch.
Okay, yeah, it's been... timing has showed red flag, then green. I think that was purely on timing. I don't think any confusion has been caused for the drivers out there.
There was nothing there. Oh, one
there
of
is a
Warwick
driver.
cars has
Yeah,
stopped.
Warwick car has come to a stop on the outside of. Yep, absolutely. Jacob was talking to Archie Hobson, wasn't he, before the start of this race, and Archie was like, "Yeah, it just hasn't quite come together for us today."
I think that might be Archie as well.
As Bournemouth pits. So Bournemouth pits from the. They are from the lead of the race because Coventry have been in as well and have emerged, and they've emerged with a 1 minute 32, which is all right. That's not too bad. That'll keep them nicely in the hunt. So Coventry's first stop at 1:32. Bournemouth. So Coventry A, actually, because they've all stopped, Coventry A have inherited the lead, I think. There emerges Bath A, who have stopped, so James Bumate stays in the kart. They've had a 1 minute 38, not a great stop there from Bath A. How have Bournemouth fared? Now, Andrew, this is an area where Bournemouth might be slightly weaker because this is their first day doing these stops.
Yeah.
So how do they go? They're still in the pits. Out comes the 13, that's Southampton A. And Bournemouth are still in the pits, I think. This is what we mean when we talk about this. But there they finally are. There is Bournemouth. They've made the driver change. And it's a 2 minutes 10. It's a 2 minute 10 stop for Bournemouth. Now, I was going to talk about this in the previous race because I saw one of their stops come out as a 1 minute 57. I'm saying this not in any way to, draw attention to their failings. I just want to draw attention to how your experience in this series can count when it comes to the pit stops. They are doing pit stops in the 2 minute range when we are seeing some teams do them in the 1 minute 28 range. And that has rather undone Bournemouth's race on this occasion. So yeah, that's one of the longest stops that we've seen of the day, unfortunately. And as I say, Bath A's wasn't spectacular. It was okay. It was a 1 minute 38, so they've lost a bit of time there. So Coventry A lead this one then. They've emerged from the pits and still lead this one, which is crucial for them. Surely put themselves in really good stead here. Nottingham A in second place still owe us a stop. They've just got by Loughborough C, who also owe us a stop. So a fair few drivers still waiting to do their first stop of the race. As darkness really is descending now. But we're okay, we got floodlights here at PFI. But as Andrew was saying earlier, you do not want to be wearing a tinted visor right now. That is prohibited in these conditions. No sun in the eyes of the drivers anymore. That has gone down. We're distinctly in twilight period here. Really nice evening sky above the circuit. There, we just saw going through shots as the number 9 of Nottingham A running in second place. As I say, we expect them to peel off into the pit lane at some point. Who is in the kart for Nottingham A? In this one, it's Henry Jackson and Charlie Lamb. Of course it's Henry Jackson, we did see in the start. I still am trying to configure my mind to the fact that he's with Nottingham now and not Nottingham Trent. But running well, Nottingham. They're running long in this stint, so they in this one they were trying to come from a long way back, were Nottingham. So they've opted to go for this long stint. Let's see how that works for them. They saw the position that they were starting and then felt the need to apply slightly different settings to the strategy that they used going forward in this one. As Warwick C has been deducted 2 positions again for track limit warning. Shall we let's just, I don't want to dwell too much on these penalties because I know they are getting a bit. Oh, it's the 39 of Newcastle B is in trouble out there.
Not for the first time in this race as well, frustrated. And that's Knight, isn't it? That's Kyle Knight.
That's Kyle Knight, not to be confused with De Montfort's Johnny Knight.
Yeah. unfortunately having a bit of trouble there. Second spin for him in the hairpins, just off camera. 34 minutes of this one to go.
Yeah.
When we had that little wobble on timing, I think we did lose. I keep hearing 24 seconds being mentioned, just so we're aware.
We lost
24 seconds of the race, so just bear that in mind for the end of the race if there's any weird time has elapsed. But if I look on the clock outside our commentary box, it's currently reading 21 minutes and 17 seconds. So I think we are going by that, but just bear that in mind in case we have another little wheel.
Good point. I do just want to give a quick mention, because I feel like we've been saying track limits all day.
Yeah.
Let's just note what we're talking about here. I know it sounds obvious, but we're talking about drivers excessively using the exit of corners is going to be where they're attributing these things. Places like here that we've just seen, if drivers are going all four wheels over the white line on that final corner, it's a track limits violation.
Yeah.
And there are spotters around the circuit who are going to spot that and radio that in as we've gone lights down here in the comms box.
So that
we can, no, that was Will.
Oh, fair enough.
Outside. They can control our lights in race control, it turns out.
They can control many things.
They can. They are race control after all. But that'll be the cause of it, is drivers going wide on the exit. I mean, take these two hairpins, for example. They're not a million miles away from the two hairpins in Buckmore. You've got a tight right-hander and then a tight left-hander. And just as with Buckmore, you can run over the exit curb and be in violation of track limits. So that'll be part of it. I also think coming out of the chicane that we're about to witness the BUKC kart go through here, coming here onto the back straight. Oh, we just cut away from them. But as they come onto that back straight, there we go. Coming onto here, you can also that can also be a hot spot for violating track limits. And the other place I can think of potentially is coming off of the Litchfield Bridge, turning right and coming onto the straight towards hairpin 1. That's another key place where they could be in violation of track limits. Look at this battle though between BUKC and Trent A. This one's going quite neatly, isn't it, over 5th place. And we're now entering, it's very difficult for us to say of course because we've got the slight timing glitch we're trying to case for here, but I'd say we're now in the midpoint where the pits are closed and we have a representative running order. He wants to say, have Nottingham A pitted yet?
Yes, they have. They pitted really early. They have.
Oh yeah, they did.
Though.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to say that they didn't do the long stint then, because I was talking rubbish. Which means that they've done a fantastic job working their way up in that Nottingham car from 28th on the grid. This has been a fantastic drive for them. So, Coventry A lead this one at the moment. Fantastic effort from them, and they are looking set if they can hold on to this. Obviously, having also got the win in the first race, they will take the maximum 120 to take the round win. Ryan Williams still at the wheel of that one in the number 1, as the number 18 is off and getting themselves recovered, that being Sheffield A. So it's not quite on to plan for them, but they now resume their running. Nottingham A are 5 seconds down the road from Coventry A, and then it's Bath A, who are a further 3.5 seconds down the road from them. Still James Bumate piloting that one. Just under 3 seconds back from them is De Montfort B having a good drive there in the number 40. That's Christian Bessel and Tom Cuthbertson's effort. I think it's still Christian Bessel at the wheel of that one, but I'm not entirely sure. 2.7 seconds down from them is the battle that we're looking at here, the BUKC versus Nottingham Trent A battle. So that is BUKC with Lewis Bracewell at the wheel, and they started 34th and they're now battling over 5th place. Fantastic stuff from them. Nottingham Trent A is also a story of working their way from the back. Andrew Wong and Dante Dillon's effort there. Currently, let's think this one through. Dante Dillon, Andrew Wong at the wheel of that one.
Pit window is now closed, by the way.
Okay, so that is definitely everybody's pitted. So, BUKC and Trent A battling away over 5th. Then Queen Mary in the 61 are 2 seconds back from them. A further 2 seconds back from them are Exeter A. Brooks B are 9 seconds back, and then 3 seconds behind them to round out the top 10 are Kingston A. Your highest clubman's runner is De Montfort B in that 4th place, and Coventry A are leading the race. Oh.
I will say it's time for now because it's time to do Spreadsheet of Doom. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with a bit of a show of what things are looking like at halfway.
Okay, so as we were saying, we've moved away from the Bracewell battle with Brooks C and Nottingham Trent. We are now with another Brooks team, Brooks D effort, battling away with Southampton A. To that end, fill you in on who's driving these ones. So the Brooks D effort is Brad Butcher and Callum Porter in this one. And indeed, Southampton A have just got by there on Brooks D, so that is a change for position for 12th place. Diego Martinez taking the Southampton number 13 kart up to 12th place. As they come round to start a new lap. And back again comes Brooks D. So nice little move to get the position back. This is a good battle here. And coming into play here too is Manchester Metropolitan A in the 44. That is for position, and through they go now on Southampton as well. So good stuff there from Manchester Met. Already had dramas in this race, but running well here in this battle for 12th place. Newcastle A is just ahead of them up the road in the number 24, as now the 44 of Manchester Metropolitan gets past Brooks D as well. It's Sam Richardson at the wheel of this Manchester Met A effort, and there goes Diego Martinez down the inside now of the Brooks D kart. Who's running for Newcastle A? There's Harry Jones, I think further up the road just from these guys. New fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 10.129 for Coventry A in the number 1 kart. And that did not go to plan there. We're back with the Brooks C battle, where Lewis Bracewell just got a bit bulked by the traffic there, and it allowed Nottingham Trent A to come through briefly. Looking for any opportunity to get by. This is a challenge as they work their way through the traffic here. Number 61 of Queen Mary A as well in attendance there. That's part of this battle, albeit not eligible for points, as there's a penalty critically for Nottingham Trent A for multiple contact. You can see there, that's the frustration there, so that's more penalties given to Trent A, unfortunately. So Lewis Bracewell has some breathing space as well now, even without those penalties.
Got some numbers for you, mate. Currently, if the race was to finish like this, Coventry A would win the round. That would be pretty obvious, as they would have win both races. Currently, second place on the road would get second place in the round as well. Nottingham would finish second with a 5th and a 2nd. Third would be Clubhouse leaders at the moment, Huddersfield A. They're of course not in this race, but got 6th and 3rd across their 2 races. But keep an eye on Exeter A and Brooks B. They're both 1 point off the Huddersfield tally at the moment, so that could still change. Clubman's looking very good, I've got to say, for the number 40 of De Montfort B. They're in 4th place, on for over 100 points. The only Clubman team to achieve that. Second place in Clubman, keep an eye out for Leeds. They are currently, well, they were at the time of scoring 19th. They are now 20th, but that's still enough to get second place in Clubman. They're currently on 96. Third place in Clubman, another team to look out for and hoping they can improve. Birmingham A, currently on 91 points, but 25th at the moment. Although I haven't just said that, they have dropped to 29th since I last checked. So that's... Sorry, no, they were 28th when I last checked. They were now 29th, so they're still on for 3rd place in Clubman.
We've just seen Exeter A get up to 6th position, by the way. Pulled the move on Queen Mary A, which means that Josh Kraft has now got that card up to 6th, and behind him a battle is ensuing between Nottingham Trent A now to try and get past Queen Mary. So that will be, they'll be trying to get that one through up into 7th, and indeed they have now got the job done. So good work there from Andrew Wong to get that up. 56 within position, I don't believe it is, but a few moves here in the upper parts of the top 10. Sorry, mate, were you done on the
yeah, no,
presentation?
that's pretty much all the news. Yeah, Oxford BUKC, of course, won the round this morning. They're currently on to finish 6th. Bit of a Brooks sandwich. 5th, 6th, 7th, BAC at the moment. Up the inside, Queen Mary looking there on... is that the BUKC car? No, sorry, it's the number 17.
On the
Trent
17,
sorry,
Trent,
there we go. Time to just place yourself. Kingston A, keep an eye out for them as well. They're also in with this shout of a clubman podium. It's just a podium, not a win. Mr. Sam Wrighton, if you're listening, you're not doing the pants run yet.
It's the coldest time of year to do it as well.
Nippy.
It's not the time of year to offer that kind of thing, mate.
Brandt there looking pretty good for Queen Mary. It's just a shame that they've not had a full team
I know,
today,
right?
because when we've seen them out on circuit, they've raced and be scoring for points. They've been looking pretty good.
Yep.
They will still get some championship points from the partial appearance today. Hopefully we can get some more team members available for when we go to Buckmore Park on the 4th of March. March?
Yep.
A trip to Buckmore Park in March. I don't think I've ever done that. Even for Club 100 open rounds, I don't think we've ever been in March.
Nope. It's definitely an unusual time to be going there, as Southampton A now has Bath B behind that. It's full position, by the way, the 13 followed by the 53. So it's absolutely full position. With, I think it's Joe Davison at the wheel of that Bath B kart.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the final 20 minutes of this race, I just want to give our thanks in the commentary box to all the staff here at Paul Fletcher International at Trent Valley Kart Club. I think they've made us very welcome today, and the test day last week as well. I do think we'll be back here. We know we'll be back here. We'll be back here for the
6 hours of PFI.
6 hours of PFI, the special Club 100 event in the summer. Please don't snow then. I just want to come here and it not snow for once.
No, I have many reasons to not want snow at any point in August at all. Anyway,
the number 60 was a little bit wide there, 13 up the inside, so I don't think that's for position now, because Warwick CR still dead last in this race at the moment. 3 laps down. Bit perplexed as to what's going on with Birmingham A, because they're down in 30th. I don't think they've had anything particularly...
they had an incident early on, mate, at hairpin 2, which definitely put them towards the back. But you're right, they haven't made hay with it and made the recovery, have they? One wonders, of course, one wonders whether maybe the kart has been affected in some way, but not quite such that it's worth pulling it in. Not sure, but it's definitely not. It's not come good for them, has it?
I wouldn't pull it in because there's still the good result from third early on in the race.
Bath B
round, but Bath B down the inside
of
there.
Southampton. This
good move,
is nice clean move. Yeah, absolutely, 13th place taken for them, and they're not a million miles away from Manchester Met ahead of them. So they can now set about chasing them down. This feels like we're watching the BUKC 24 hours in it, mate. It's lovely under the floodlights.
It does a little bit.
It looks great. Obviously, we do a bit of racing. If we were at Buckmore, we'd be racing under floodlights as well. But I think it's just the open nature of this track. It sort of feels vaguely, and I do mean vaguely, they're very different circuits, vaguely Teesside-ish. With the sort of, grass banking all around the bottom section of the lap and all that sort of stuff. It's sort of... it's got that feel to it.
Kingston have just fallen 5 positions. I hope they're still running out there. They've not come over the line yet.
Well, the pit window
the pit window's open. That'll be why. Oh, don't worry.
They may be in the pits. We don't know, but they have the look of being in the pits because they're dropping a long way down now. So yes, I think that is a Commonweal Garden pit stop there for Kingston A. But still, Sam, keep your trousers on.
If people have tuned in the last 10 minutes, should explain.
This has context that is perfectly above board. Birmingham pit board is out. That's how they've been signalling in. Although he has also put the letter on the wrong way up. Either that's a special signal.
Crashed.
Or, Kingston A were... Kingston A I hope were pitting, but it was a 2 minutes 3.
Bath A are in, the number 31, looking good there, the number 17. No, Dante Dillon.
Someone got in the way there of him, was it?
I'm not going to blame Dante for that, but people need to pay attention to Green Cross Code again.
Absolutely.
Get a little book with the hedgehogs out. Dante Dillon on his way.
Cambridge B have pitted as well, for the record. And Bath A have pitted.
Yeah.
Sorry, we just covered that.
Yeah.
But it was a 1 minute 54. Not a good pit stop for Bath, and to be honest with you, neither was their first one, because their first stop, I believe I made a note of, was 1 minute 38. So neither of these pit stops, particularly that last one, have been good for Bath A, and I have to say, they've kind of taken themselves out of contention in this race by way of not doing good pit stops. Because whenever I've seen them out on track, they've been on it in terms of pace. They've just not had the pit technique in this race to take the fight to the front runners.
Jack Fisher there, number 34 for Leeds. Yes, Trent Valley Kart Club, been brilliant. Can't wait to come back here in August. Also want to say thanks to all the Alpha Live staff. Today has not been easy.
No.
Well, the last 48 hours have not been easy.
No.
Some of the team members had some difficulties getting here, but everybody did get here eventually, and has worked very, very hard across the course of the day to bring you this live coverage.
Yeah.
We will be back, of course, for Buckmore Park on the 4th of March, and here for every single mains championship day through into the spring. So big thanks to them, and if you don't do so already, please, on YouTube, subscribe to the Alpha Live YouTube channel, Twitter, follow them at Alpha Live Production, and on Facebook as well, just search Alpha Live and click that like button. Club 100, of course.
Yep.
We will be covering some of the Club 100 Sprints Championship with Alpha Live again this season. The struggle here for the number 55.
Is this more bad luck for Corey?
It's, yeah.
It is more bad luck for Corey.
Every time I see this kid on screen, he's having it's a battery issue. That's a battery change going on there.
Yeah, it's a flat battery, meaning the starter motor isn't functional. Wow, if he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all, as he now gets underway.
We talked about a Birmingham A pit stop, but I don't think they've actually come in yet.
No. Did we talk about Birmingham A's pit stop?
Yeah, because they had their pit board on upside down.
We said that, maybe an upside down A means stay out. But I'd have thought you could do that by not signalling. Maybe that just means we're keeping you out for a while yet. Push, and don't worry about it. Or they didn't see the board. All of these are possible. But yeah, no, absolutely. Huge thanks to the Club 100 team. As emerging from the pit lane comes Brooks B.
There's no please anymore. It's
just obey.
Just obey the track limits. Do it.
Do it now.
Or face the consequences. But no, I'd also like to thank Club 100 for the mounting. I had a bit of a concern that the mounting of the cameras was going to obscure the view of the cameras, but no, they've got it absolutely spot on. I've not had any problems all day.
Yep.
That's good. We'll await to see what kind of footage comes out. I'm quite interested to see what BUKC on a NASA panel looks like.
Yeah. It could be quite spectacular.
15 minutes to go then of this final race of the day, race 3 for round 2 of the British Universities Karting Championship 2020. Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell from Double Dash Motorsport Media in the comms box for you. Penalties just come through for Leeds B, multiple track limits, and Nottingham.
Yeah, they already had one.
So they already had one.
So yeah, they're going to be dot 4 positions.
Well, that's going to be big because that could relegate them off the podium.
Yeah, I think it probably will. So costly for them.
Right. I'm going to need to cross-reference your notepad file, mate, to call this one.
You're welcome, mate. Welcome to have a look. The penalties logged thus far.
So that's 6 positions for Nottingham A now.
Yep.
And
Nottingham Trente are the big offenders of this one with 8 positions.
I'm going to pop Quizzy now. Exeter A, have they been naughty?
Not as far as I've seen.
Good. Brooks B.
Not as far as I've seen.
Good. Brooks C.
Brooks are completely in the clear so far.
Very good. Very, very good. I thought for a minute then, oh no, why is it saying Oxford on the screen? That was for University of. Track limit warning for number 13. Still Coventry A. This is quite ominous for the rest of the season. That Coventry A. I know Joe Fowler's saying that he doesn't think they're a championship contender. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. They are the reigning champions. Squad is stronger.
You could see the rapport between himself and Sam Spadell after the last race. He doesn't have.
But if they can keep this going, obviously don't get any penalties now, boys. But a double victory in the endurances, 120 out of 120, and to do it in this fashion as well, be 20.8 seconds up the road from Exeter. Very impressive.
You asked if Brooks B had any penalties. They don't, but they did have an atrocious second stop.
Ooh, okay.
It was 2 minutes and 4 seconds.
So the likelihood of them being 9th at the end of this race, as they were at
just
halfway,
diminished significantly.
Okay,
they're currently in 20th.
That might take them out of contention to finish on the podium. I think we're looking at Exeter now. Exeter A, currently second place, but I don't think they've stopped yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Howard.
Sorry, which team was that?
Exeter A, number 5.
No, I don't believe that.
42 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock over start finish. That's what we're going by. I know there's been some trouble with the time because for the one time ever, my internet-based copy of live timing is actually ahead of the live clock that I can see over start finish. That really confused me about when I was doing the halfway check. But so we'll have a 55 and 20-ish seconds race here. Now what we're going to do, this is number 11 in the pits. Not the most sprightly of stops. I think that was a Brooks stop as well.
It is Brooks C.
That's Brooks C.
But it's an interesting thing.
So that's the. Oh, sorry, that's a different Brooks team.
I think it's worth giving.
In the pole pit stop.
Yeah, I think it's worth giving some mention to this, though, mate. Let's be clear, and it wasn't a great stop. It was a 1 minute 36. Not awful, but really not great. You've lost a couple of seconds at least there to those around you. The thing is this, though, Andrew. It's dark. It's cold. It's been a long day. Some of these drivers are up at stupidly early o'clock. This is where the mistakes can creep in. This is where the poor judgments can creep in. And in the heat of the moment, or indeed the chill of the moment, as it may have been at many points today, mistakes happen.
What I will say, though, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone watching it back, if you want to see a perfect Buckmore Park pit stop, go across the Double Dash Motorsport Media channel. Recent video at the back end of 2019. Go to about, what should we say, an hour in? Because it's both of our stints. Watch this man's pit stop where, what did we do? Was it a 55-second pit affected lap?
It was pretty good.
I mean, you did nearly hit Justin Buck as you came into the pits.
But I didn't.
But you didn't. And you didn't break any kind of speeding rules or anything like that.
No.
Not to blow our own trumpet, it was a bloody good stop. We'll go and have a watch of that one whilst you're training and getting ready for Buckmore.
I need to watch it. I'm racing there in a few weeks' time. Again.
22nd of Feb.
The number 53 is in, and that is Bath B.
It is indeed. That doesn't look like a sprightly stop.
That looks like a battery issue again to me. I wonder if that's affected by the cold as well. In some
We've
respects.
seen it before. I would give a Club 100 update update advert at this point, but I think they're fully sold out for Buckmore Park.
They might well be, but you know what the best way to find out is?
Ring the club office.
Ring the club office. All the details are online. club100.co.uk. If you are watching this and going, I'd like a bit of that. Well, if you're a student, BUKC.co.uk. If you're not a student, plenty of ways you can get involved in racing Club 100 machinery. club100.co.uk.
And even if you are a student, you can still come and do Club 100
Oh, totally,
anyway.
totally. In fact, if you're not a student because you're not old enough to be a student yet,
the Young Drivers Championship.
Young Drivers Championship is new for Club 100 this year. Have a look at it. club100.co.uk. There's also forums on there if you have any further questions, and call the office. They will be more than happy to help. But yes, the Young Drivers Championship. It's not in any way representing suddenly lowering the age limit. You've always been able to compete in Club 100 from the age of 14 upwards, but it's a new championship to really accentuate that and give them that, give them that environment that is ideal for them to get into racing these Club 100 karts and really develop their skills. And that is going to be fantastic to watch as well. So check it out, club100.co.uk.
All part of the new era of Club 100. Fully part of the Motorsport UK family now. Number 5 is in. This
Extra
is
A from second place. Second place, so O'Shaughnessy in. Meanwhile, that was the 33, wasn't it? Which is Loughborough C.
Yeah. Club 100 made the announcement back at Kartmania in November that they are now a full member of Motorsport UK. And a lot changing at the moment. There's a penalty for Birmingham B for multiple track limits, and we'll cover more of that as the season goes on. The KX licence as well coming in for Club 100 sprints, endurances and sprint 60s as well.
Yeah.
And we'll probably start to roll out into the BUKC for next year as well, but that's to be confirmed.
Yeah. And all good news, generally speaking, on the Club 100 front. There's Bournemouth A, the number 92 we just saw. Now that, where are they running on track now? They are, they're down in 21st place. That is what a 2-minute 10 pit stop does.
Birmingham A have had a bad pit stop as well, 2 minutes 22, and I think that is going to end the chances they had of finishing on the Clubman podium.
Yeah.
How are Trent B doing, mate?
Trent B are in 13th place at the moment. They're benefiting from just a few people pitting, but they have 4 positions to be docked at the end of the race through penalties.
Leeds A, 14th.
Leeds A are 14th.
Ooh,
and they
now that's
are
key.
there on merit, i.e. there are no penalties to be applied.
Leeds need one more position to take the Clubman lead. Because they're tied on 101 at the moment, them and De Montfort B. De Montfort B not in this race, of course.
No.
Oh, no, so they are.
They are, they certainly are.
No, they have taken the lead then, because if De Montfort have fallen to 6th,
which they have,
any of those top 5 need to pit?
Ooh, I don't think so. I'll just double check.
They've got one.
Nottingham Trent
No,
A.
we're going to go all the way to the end because it's a 55-minute race. Penalty for Trent B. That's key.
Another one.
That is key for Leeds A, because that's going to promote them to 13th. In fact, they've done so anyway, because I think Warwick are in the pits.
That in of itself, I mean, Nottingham Trent B already had penalties, so Leeds are ahead of them either way.
Well, how about this? It's been a bit of a roller coaster day for Leeds today. They won the first race of the day on the road, but then got disqualified for being underweight by 100 grams, I believe. Could they finish the day with Leeds A taking the top honours in Clubman? I think we've known where the overall win is going to go for a while. I mean, Coventry could even fall a couple of positions on the road and still win round 2 of the BUKC 2020.
So, to be clear, sorry mate, does De Montfort B, if De Montfort B got back up to 5th, would they take the win?
De Montfort B would kind of need to get back up to about 4th.
Oh, okay, right. Okay.
In fact, higher now. The more leads come through this field, the better it gets for them, because of course no drop scores.
It's looking unlikely to happen. They're in 6th, and currently this is one of the closest battles on track, by the way, is De Montfort B in the number 40 kart in 6th, in a battle with the number 31 of Bath A, who are less than a second behind them over 6th place. So if anything, they're under threat of going further down to go backwards, not forwards. Having said that, who else is close on track? Nottingham Trent C, running in 14th. having a great battle with Southampton A. Can I just give a shout out to Nottingham Trent C? Does everyone remember in the first few laps when they led this race?
Yeah.
Do you know what? They've really not. They've had a really good run.
Top half.
Really good run. He's going to say he's going to check his penalties now. No, I'm going to go even further in congratulating them. They're the only Nottingham Trent entry in this race unpenalised at the moment. So fair play to Nottingham Trent C. A bit of a round of 2 races, this one for them, because they didn't have a great one in their first race of this round, but this one, what an impressive run, as they get a track limits warning. Don't push it. But,
how many penalties have Trent B got?
They have 6 positions worth by my count.
Okay. Birmingham might just sneak onto the class podium here. I mean, they're having a torrid race. And
down in 32nd place.
Still don't know quite what to make of this day for Birmingham A. They've had they've had a race win. They could have had 2.
The pace just isn't good generally, mate.
No.
We don't know. I'm not attributing that at all to the drivers necessarily. It could be a car issue. There was a bit of a ruckus that they were involved with at hairpin 2 in the early stage of the race. But if you look at the lap times at the moment, it isn't something to write home about. Most teams at the front running in the 110s, 111s. They're running in the 113s.
So I've got Leeds A currently on 102 in terms of points. De Montfort B on 99. Birmingham A on 87.
Yep, absolutely.
So it could still be good. How's that going?
We're looking at Bath B, who's just been passed by Bournemouth. So this is a battle over 16th place. Between Bath B, Newcastle B, and Bournemouth A, but it's not in that order now. It's now Bournemouth A, Newcastle B, and then Bath B, and that's the number 9 coming through to put a lap on them as well. That is the 2nd place Nottingham A, who have gone by very quietly in this race, I have to say. We talk about Nottingham A being sort of kings of consistency. Do you know what? This race, they have been quiet and consistent. The sort of Nottingham of old in this particular race, because we haven't really said much about them, but here they are running in 2nd place, 11 seconds down on the lead, but 15 seconds up on 3rd place. So they're sort of just having a quiet one, but doing a good job.
But they do have penalties still.
They do have penalties still.
Unfortunately,
that's true.
Second place in the round.
That's a good point. There's 6 positions worth of penalties to be precise, to be applied. But yeah, good little battle we're watching there between Bournemouth A, Newcastle B, and Bath B. That's over 16th place. Bournemouth A getting to 16th place. But, and I hate to keep saying it, but they do have penalties to be applied as well.
Coventry A will also lead the championship after 3 rounds. Yes, 3 rounds so far this season, with 1st, 2nd and 1st. First from their round 0, as it were, qualifier back in November.
Yep.
Still too early to talk about championship, though.
It is, but it does all count, and when it all gets tight towards the end, this will be back to moments like these that we shall look.
Final lap board is out. Exeter A, I think, are going to take 2nd place. So we're actually back to the same situation, that 1st and 2nd at the end of this race will have 1st and 2nd in the round. Coventry from Exeter, once Nottingham's penalties have been applied.
Yep.
However, Brooks B at the moment, they're fallen away a little bit, so I think Huddersfield may hold on for a podium here. That'd be nice. That'd be very good for Huddersfield A.
Yeah.
To get a podium. There is your race leader on his last lap, Thomas Fox. He's moved over from Aston University to race for Coventry this year in this strengthening of the reigning champions for me.
And such has been their success in this race. I don't think we've checked in with the Coventry kart since Tom Fox got into it.
No.
I think the last time we saw this, it was Ryan Williams at the wheel.
And this has been a lot of experience that he's got over the last 12 months in this kind of racing, put to good use here. Thomas Fox coming around the final couple of corners now for the reigning champions, who have started the 2020 championship in fantastic form. Thomas Fox wins for Coventry A, and they win round 2 of the BUKC in 2020 here at PFI. We wait now for Nottingham A, who will take 2nd on the road there. It is for Henry Jackson, but Exeter A are going to finish 2nd once penalties are applied. And we wait for the number 5 car. They're going to take 2nd place in a round by my calculations.
a very good day for them. There is Max O'Shaughnessy. Max O'Shaughnessy takes second place in the round for Exeter A. The rest of them coming across the field now. Good result that actually for Oxford Brookes C there.
Yeah, decent.
Fourth will be turned into third once penalties are applied. Nottingham Trent A didn't quite happen for them in the first race, but a third place overall this morning in round one. A top 5 there in the final endurance of the day. Pretty good for them.
Provisional, I'm going to say, mate. They're one of the most penalised teams in the field. They've got 8 positions to be docked.
Bath A showed that their form at qualifiers was not a fluke. 6th place for them in this particular one. De Montfort B got 7th place. Ooh, now they could still nick the win then, because of course there's all these penalties flying around.
Yeah,
that 7th could get a little bit better.
Yep.
Where did Leeds come over the line? Have Leeds come over the line? 13th. But we know they're going to go up because at least Trent B ahead of them have got penalties. So I'm going to, with caution, considering what happened this morning, I'm going to cautiously call Leeds A as your winners in Clubman, with De Montfort B second, and I'm not going to call third because it's too close.
Yeah.
Too close.
And we stress how provisional that is in the case of this, because it has been superbly close. That brings to the end of some fantastic racing at PFI.
Yep.
I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. One last final mention that obviously is the Intermediate Championship Round 1 here tomorrow. You can follow it on live.alphatiming.co.uk/BUKC, and of course on the BUKC Facebook page, and we'll be reviewing it on our own little humble DDMM podcast. We're next streaming round 3 and 4, 4th of March from Buckmore Park.
Thank you, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed the commentary. I've been Andrew Mather. He's been Howard Mitchell from Double Dash Motorsport Media. If you have enjoyed the commentary, do give us a like on Facebook, a follow on Twitter, and a follow on Instagram as well. But for now, we're going to pass down to Jacob Harris in the pit lane here at PF International, because I believe he's got a certain Mr. Fox, a fantastic Mr. Fox, down in pit lane. Over to you, Jacob.
Or not.
I think he's got a technical issue.
He has. This time, it's not that he's forgotten it. He has the microphone. It's just not quite. We'll await on that one. But, yeah, fantastic. A fantastic win there for Coventry. And, you know, I'm going to have to go away and recalibrate my brain. I'm just going to repeat. Henry Jackson's on Nottingham.
Not Nottingham Trent.
Not Nottingham Trent. And Tom Fox is in Coventry. That's what we're going to have to repeat. But no, it's been a fantastic first visit to PFI for the BUKC. And it's quite nice to finish it under floodlights as well.
Yeah, I mean, it really shows that the level that this place is at. I mean, it's hosted World Championship rounds. It's hosted everything that you can imagine. Alpha Live, I think, are planning to be back here later in the year for various things. So all the more reason to subscribe to the YouTube channel where it all is. We are trying to get back to Jacob Harris down in pit lane.
I should just say as well, we were saying how all the results that we say are provisional. If you want to find out the official results, don't forget results.alphatiming.co.uk/BUKC. You can review everything, all of the results, all of the sessions. They're all there, and that's where you need to go to get the official results. I think we're now good to hand down to Jacob. So maybe this time it's from us goodbye and down to Jacob.
Few audio issues here down in the pits, but I'm with Tom Fox, who has won the UKC 2020 round 2. Tom, I was saying this is a perfect start to your title defence.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't think we were very happy with the morning because we came second, but we knew we had it in us to win it. So we won both our endurance to make up with it. So yeah, happy with that. On to the next one.
Excellent. Well, I think we're short of time here, both due to light and batteries. So thank you very much for talking to us. All the best for the rest of the season. For now, that is it for BUKC rounds 1 and 2 here at PFI. We'll be back at Buckmore Park in a couple of weeks' time. We'll be live across Facebook, YouTube and the Alpha Live website once again. So please do join us in a couple of weeks' time from Buckmore Park. Good night.